Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal,
know that for a
Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Oh, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket, and for the last time in this World Cup, we are in a New York state of mind. It's the USA versus India, Hollywood versus Bollywood. This World T20 has certainly served up tragedy, comedy and romance. So far, what are we in for today? For the USA, could it be a fairy tale in New York? They've beaten Canada and incredibly Pakistan, but both those games were in Dallas. So this is their first time out here. And now they come up against an India team that has already taken a couple of big bites out of the Big Apple, beating Ireland and Pakistan here, and who have probably the bowler best equipped to wreak havoc on a tricky pitch in Jasprit Bumrah. With 5 wickets at an average of just 4 so far, he really is living for the city. I'm Tony Bishop, and with me are our Perth powerhouse pairing. The only living boy in his Perth weather cave. It's Messy Jez.
Hello, Tony. Lovely to be with you again. And as far as I can gather, we should have fine weather today.
Well, that's fantastic. And talking New York, our resident psychiatrist, Sagir Parker. Hello, Sagir. How are you?
Tony. Hello, Tony. Hello, Messy. Good to be with you guys over here.
Great to have you with us. Right. Well, now team and toss news, and there is a bit of both, obviously. Toss, that was won by India. They have chosen to field. Implications of that on issues of run rate and the like we'll come on to. Team-wise, India, well, they're going to stay exactly as they are, that they were before. So you've got Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Surakumar Yadav, Shivam Dubey, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, never easy to say, Axar Patel, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj and Arshdeep Singh. There is one change, though, for the US, and it's an enforced one too. Monank Patel, the captain, has got a shoulder niggle. They think he'll be alright for the next game, but he's not for this one. So the captaincy will go to Aaron Jones, and the wicket-keeping gloves will go to Andres Gus. So that means that they will line up as Stephen Taylor, Goose, Alan Jones, Nitish Kumar, Corey Anderson, Harmpreet Singh, Jasdeep Singh, Noshtush Kenjigi, Surab Netravolkar and Ali Khan. And I missed someone. What I haven't figured out, Messrs, unless I've got something wrong. Who am I missing? Who's coming?
Jahangir. He's the missing
Thank you. Thank you. I knew I can count to 10. And realised I was certainly one missing. Right, well, plenty to talk about before we get going. So yeah, the pitch not quite as demonic as it has been, but hardly full of runs either. What do you make of it today, do you think?
I think good bowlers would be able to take advantage of what the pitch has to offer, and I think in Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya, India have two wily customers who actually, can do a lot off the pitch without doing much in the air or resorting to any tricks as such. And the pitch and the outfield sort of settling down was only a matter of time before it happened, because, once you have a new ground and you have a new dropping pitch and a new outfield, obviously it's going to take a few days to weeks before it settles down. And I think even Rohit in his post-toss interview mentioned that the pitch has been settling down a little bit. Now, I would have thought that given this opposition and the fact that India is playing last at this ground now, they would have preferred to bat first and see what sort of target they can set rather than continue with their tried and tested method of chasing. Because, India, even in the last World Cup, they weren't really tested much when it came to batting first in the ODI World Cup. And eventually in the final, when they came across a resurgent Australia, I think they just couldn't understand how to approach the game and what sort of target would be a safe target. Because up until that point, the bowlers had done their job. And I have no doubt that even in this tournament, the bowlers will do their job. It's whether the batters are ready to stand up and rise to the occasion and set formidable totals. And we have seen Australia do that against England. They crossed 200. And then when they beat, who did they beat recently? Namibia today. They got Namibia all out for 70 and something, and then just knocked off all those runs in under 6 overs. Now, if that doesn't signal intent, I don't know what else does. And I think this is one area where India have been lacking a little bit, that ruthlessness when it comes to taking those opportunities.
Well, that's interesting you should say that. My other question for you would be, are you Gary Naylor in disguise? That was a long answer. So I'm going to go to Messrs for the next question.
Okay.
India, possibly, can they count themselves fortunate that Pakistan crumbled a bit?
Oh,
They're
obviously they
unbeaten?
can. I think very much so. Pakistan should have won that. But that shot that who was it? Zaman played across from Bumrah's first ball was the portent of doom. You don't do that with Bumrah. But I think India are, in a way, I think they're very lucky that this is turning out the way it is. So they're going to get a really good chance to warm up before the Super 8s. I can see them being very hard to stop. My favourite teams at the moment are India, South Africa and Australia. I think all three of them stand a good chance if South Africa can get their batting together. But I'm very sorry to see the United States skippers not able to play today.
Yeah, that's
I think
a real
that's
blow.
a big out for them. But then again, they would never have had any expectations of winning this match. They'd probably be focusing on their final match against Ireland, which is also a chance of being rained out, which will be fine for them because it will make sure they qualify.
Well, it'll be Stephen Taylor, I would imagine, who's taking the field. We've already seen the first camera shot of the day was, of course, Virat. He wasn't doing much. I think he was just scratching his arse or just tucking his shirt in, but we had to see that anyway.
I'd never even come to the concept that Virat actually had an arse. I mean, I think that's almost blasphemous.
Well, it's going to be Stephen Taylor, and it is Shayan Jahangir.
So, Messi, did you think that all of Kohli was an ass, or just that none of it?
No. Just that he's a deity and therefore doesn't have the sort of bodily parts like that.
Well,
and I think part of the reason.
Oh, we got a super chat. We have a super chat.
That's a great start.
From the fun porn box, there's a tenor towards Tony cloning himself. Thank you, Pornbot. That's wonderful.
Right, let's jingle up Stephen Taylor.
I'm Stephen Taylor. I'm Stephen Taylor. I'm Stephen Taylor. Taylor. I'm Stephen Taylor. Taylor.
Well, I'm glad to know you, Stephen Taylor.
And the bowler is going to be our friend Arshdeep Singh. So somewhere here he is.
And then this guy called Arshdeep Singh. The obvious jokes will be entertained here.
Well, and as Messrs has already told you, it's a beautiful blue sky, and Arshdeep Singh is coming in. Left arm over, that swings back noticeably, and would you believe it?
Out.
Jahangir it was who was taking strike, new to the game, in as a substitute, not an impact sub, I'm afraid, because he has gone LBW, first ball to Arshdeep Singh, who's got the broadest of smiles on his face. Maybe he was watching Middlesex and Somerset last night and had a good idea about how to bowl to this USA team. What? I mean, it really swung back. That looked to 3/4 of the way up middle stump to me, guys.
Perfect, wasn't it? I mean, just in terms of line, the length, the movement, everything is just like on the money.
Well, I was stressing that I couldn't find a jingle for him. Doesn't really matter now, does it?
No, you don't have to.
Not much.
So at least
You can give him a send-off.
At least he's done me a favour. Well, I mean, maybe this one.
Not the rude kind.
Stop being shit.
He's gone. And Andres Goose, the South African by birth, but of course now very much of the USA, will be the new man at the crease. It's all happening very fast here. What a start. Wicket, first ball to Arshdeep Singh. Jahangir's gone. And the US are 0 for 1. He's from Free State. And played for Abu Dhabi. The Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, as well as Free State, as Andres Goose. 30 years old, wicket keeper.
Gauss. Karen Barish says it's Gauss.
Gauss, as in mouse.
And House.
Not goose, as in moose. Yeah. Fair enough. I'll try and remember that. Well, Arshdeep, who has already got a wicket to his name. Left arm over, he comes, and it's wide of the off stump and left by Gauss, to rhyme with mouse, or house, or louse, or grouse.
Just going back to the Kohli Cam issue.
Yes.
Last year, when the LA Olympics Committee announced that they were including cricket at the 2028 Olympics, they made it a point to mention Virat Kohli by name and his 100+ million followers on Instagram.
They did, didn't they? Yes, they did. And aren't they in LA?
They are in LA, and I wonder whether
in comes Arshdeep. That swings back again. Is that? It's not a. Well, no, it's not a replay. It could easily have been.
It's going down.
I think that's going down.
And it's a bit high as well.
Yeah. Rohit's gesticulating also. It's like watching Give Us a Clue, where you have to do various charades. But I suspect what he's actually saying is much the same as you just said. It was probably going down. Rishabh Pant, who's a lively character, he seems pretty chilled about it. So if he isn't showing too much interest, well, it's quite high and it's not going down by much. Yeah, that's
it's not actually going down. It's too high.
Oh, I think. Well, that's exactly what Rohit is gesticulating. So no runs on the board yet. Still that one wicket. Arshdeep Singh in wide of off stump again. That might be the first on the board, but a wide. It was slanted across the right-hander. Gauss left it, as indeed he should have done. And at least the USA are often, well, not running really, but they're off anyway with one of these.
Wide.
Paul Rifle is one of your umpires today. Pistol from Box Hill near Sydney, if I recall.
The other one's Australian as well.
Kumar Dharmasena, isn't it, the other? As that one's up onto his toes.
No, it's that Sam Nyogaski.
I thought he was the TV umpire today, and they may have shuffled things around anyway. That was cut to backward point, and they've taken 2. So we'll move on to 3. I saw he was down as TV umpire. It
I
could well have
to correct
changed.
you on behalf of Mog and all. Box Hill is actually in Victoria. right?
Victoria. Yeah.
Oh my lord! Thank you. Well, I'm glad you did that.
Sam and TV umpire is Dharmasena.
Oh, they've shuffled them round. You never trust the ICC. They've put on their own website all the appointments for umpiring, and then just
And they change
them. That one swings in again by Arshdeep, beats the inside edge and beats the off stump, and ends up with Rishabh Pant cracking first over.
Also,
What a first ball!
No respectable New South Wales person would want Box Hill to be part of New South Wales.
I don't know enough about Box Hill. I have to say, I'm sure Mog and Fourthly do.
The state wars over here are very closely fought and very passionate about their own territories.
He's in decent touches, Gus. 65 he got against Canada, 35 against Pakistan.
Yes.
As that one, but he's launched this straight up in the air. Someone's going to be underneath it, surely. It's Hardik Pandya who comes around from mid-off. He takes it, and this is a Middlesexian first over by the US.
Yeah.
It is generally like watching what I was watching last night. A shot that was wild to a ball that was just too quick. Up in the air it went. Around came Hardik. Safe hands. He was never going to drop that. And I'm afraid the USA are 3 for 2 in the first over. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Lots of people with us on social media are getting. Leah says, shall we start quoting the Pogues?
What on earth were you playing at?
Sorry, it was all right. The silly little boy jingle. It's done. Carry on.
Okay. Pokey Bungfing says Team USA for the day. Dan De Castro says most matches don't matter for a week. USA will advance because Ireland match versus USA and Pakistan will be washed out. Stupid Florida host matches in rain season. In England, virtually, I totally disagree, Dan. I think England, as long as it doesn't rain, England will qualify. And Afghanistan and West Indies can't miss after the Sri Lankan washout. That's about right. England will pummel Oman and Namibia, but they need Australia to beat Scotland by like 100 runs. No, they don't. If England can win by a total of about 90 runs and Australia win, England will go through. And Leah says, she wants an NFT of Kohli scratching his ass. That stupid crick toes thingy.
I have to say, but he wasn't scratching his arse. I said he might have been.
And Brian in Brisbane says, afternoon all, back here after watching more of the post office inquiry debacle. No one can remember a thing. No one recalls a minute email, call or meeting. Strange that.
Well, it's going to be Mohammad Siraj. He's going to be into the attack for India. He's bowling to Taylor, the left-hander. That really is a sharpish Yorker too. What a first ball up that was. Somehow squeezed away into the onside by Taylor, but I'm not quite sure he knows too much about how he did it. Those stands, by the way, the temporary, they'll all disappear after, well, it won't be instant, will it? But it'll all go back to being a comparatively small cricket ground.
That's true.
After this game.
I wonder if Mayank is there at the ground and paid ridiculous amounts of money for his ticket once again.
Well, he didn't play as much yesterday. I think he's been in touch with us twice for games that certain ones I've been listening to or covered. Once he was in some sort of hospitality package, and then the second one I think he was just in amongst the great unwashed. The
commoners.
The commoners, yes. 4 for 2. It doesn't make good reading. There are 2 slips in place. Ganat's full and on off stump, and is fenced away by Jones into the offside, and there's no run, just a single so far off Siraj's first over.
From India's perspective, it's very important that Siraj starts getting his rhythm back, because as they get into the business end of the tournament, that they will want him firing not only on all cylinders but also firing in the right channels. Because last year he made it to the white ball team solely because of his potency in the power play overs and his ability to be penetrative and get those early wickets. Sadly, this year he hasn't reflected that form, and they desperately want him to be back among those wickets.
Somebody who is in good form is definitely Aaron Jones. He's the second top scorer in the tournament, I think, behind Ramanullah Gurbaz of Afghanistan. He's got 130. He started today on. That's a good sharp single. So he's off and running for today as well. 1 on the board for him, 1 on the board for Taylor, 5 for the USA. But of course the problem for them is that's for 2 wickets, which is absolutely not where they would want to be.
Did we play a jingle for Aaron Jones?
Good question. I thought I had.
Talking.
Well, I'll play it again. Well, I'll just play it again. And no, we didn't. And comes Siraj over the wicket, slanted across the left-handed Taylor into the gloves of Rishabh Pant, and there was no run. What can we tell you about Aaron Jones? He was, I think he was born in Queens, but then moved to Barbados. So he is one of those rarest of things, a native New Yorker.
But you know what? If he had a little bit of a swagger, he could be like a miniature version of Viv Richards in this tournament.
Yeah. Well, he grew up playing alongside the likes of Shai Hope, Jason Holder, Nicholas Paran and Rodman Powell in his early days. So again, some fantastic pedigree. That's right on off stump, dabbed down by Taylor towards point, no run. Made his list day debut for Barbados in 2016. But in 2018 he switched to playing for the USA. He was born in Queens in New York and has become very much a mainstay of that USA team. Got his maiden list A century against Namibia.
He's quite a good striker of the ball, and I think not just his batting capability but also mental fortitude.
Oh, that's one hand off the bat, but he's going to get runs for it because it somehow has evaded backward point. It's gone right through backward point, and he will be able to come back.
Made the right hash of it.
Well, he did. It was pretty shocking, and they have come back for 2. I don't think actually Aaron Jones has been out yet this tournament, has he? No, he's 98 not out. 98 not out.
And then not
against Canada, and then 36 not out against Pakistan. So something's got to give. Or no, not necessarily. Maybe he will. Maybe USA can recover and he will see them through. But anyway, go on, Messers.
There's USA missed Manak Patel, but his niggles should be okay by the Super 8s.
That
he also
is
says
indeed
this
the plan.
pitch is a minefield. 119 and 113 both defended. Is 39 record innings record in jeopardy here? Well, bear in mind South Africa were 12 for 4 at one stage. Kieran says, just tuned in, afternoon all, it's a bear game. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, steady. Bear's not even here today. Calm down. Call your jets. You may be wrong. Arshdeep Singh over the wicket. He's slanting it across as wide as he can go on that crease, isn't he? He's got called for it once. It's clearly a strategy to frustrate the batsman. But then again, he's also found a couple of absolute pearlers. That first ball that swung in, and I wouldn't say it was unplayable, but it was a horrible one to get first ball. So
yeah, no, that is true. And I'm just watching some of these replays, and you look at Arshdeep's left leg, and he's sort of encroaching upon the protected area in front of the umpire, and I don't know where his foot's actually landing and how far.
And he comes again. That's the in-swinger, defended in front of off stump by Jones. 7 for 2. The USA. Sorry, carry on.
No, and I assume that nowadays on-field umpires still check for these things. I know they're doing tests quite strictly. I'm not sure whether there's a little bit of leeway exercise now in ODIs and T20s or whatnot. But again, it's very difficult to judge from this angle.
Yeah. But the irony is also that it do more damage for India than for USA, probably, given that they got a bat second on it.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Jones is still the man on strike. And then he's up onto his toes and dabs it down towards third man. And will get himself a single. And will bring Taylor on to strike.
There's a lot of discussion speculating on what Australia might do against Scotland to help Scotland with their net run rate. I do think that Australia will definitely play Inglis, Agar and Green in that side because they haven't had a run. But that doesn't necessarily mean they won't go hard. I think they'll still look to win as well as they can. It's in their nature.
Taylor, mainstay for so many years, well, since 2019 when they played their first T20. But he's not fired yet, really, has he? Got a 0 against Canada and 12 against Pakistan. He might feel he's due some runs. And he's up onto his toes to defend that towards point, and there is no run. He's born in Hialeah in Florida, I'm sure I said that. He's played for Barbados Tridents, Guyana Amazon Warriors, the Jamaica and the Jamaica Talawars. His dad was also a former player and umpire. But he was raised in South Florida of Jamaican immigrants and began playing adult league cricket when he was 9. So he's playing adult cricket at the age of 9.
Wow.
That suggests a fair bit of talent, doesn't it? Arse deep, wide and flicked at by Taylor. It's swung away and is through to Rishabh Pant, who's not surprisingly looking very happy. I'd be happy if I was Rishabh Pant. I've gone if I if I was earning the sort of money he's probably earning. 2, because I'd survived and was, having my second chance at life, and 3, because I'm playing in a World T20 and doing pretty well at it. All reasons to be cheerful.
But he's the sort of person who's perennially happy no matter what the situation.
Yeah, well, the world needs people like that.
Exactly, it's a good attitude to have.
In comes Arsteep. Oh, I say that was an inside edge onto the pad. There's not a lot of foot movement from Stephen Taylor over here, is there? No, maybe that's what's causing a problem, particularly on this track. 8 for 2 after 3, and not a great picture, I'm afraid. It's not so much the 8, because scoring here has been slow. The 2, though, is not good for the USA. 8 for 2 after 3 overs. Messers.
Leah, an ad for Leah. Remember, everyone, I'll be commentating India versus Canada on Saturday. I have Adit from Armchair Cricket Podcast joining me, and if anyone else wants to join the call, hit me up on Twitter at LinuxLeah. There's ongoing discussion about the Scotland and the run rate. I'll leave that as an in-house discussion, as it were.
2 slips for Siraj. It's full.
Cricket nerds.
It's full and on middle stump and whipped into the onside, but no run. Dot ball to start. Sorry, carry on with the Brian's message.
Yeah, Brian says, "G'day, cricket nerds. Did the US have the strength and fortitude to overcome this mighty task, or are we just jerking off?" And Farang says, "Greetings all. I hope everyone's well. Suggestions of Australia going slow or taking their fowler match Scotland to possibly deny the Poms might occur.
It's likely to happen.
In comes Siraj, driven
USA to progress.
Driven past Siraj, who was well through on his follow through, and Shivam Dubey skips after it. Oh, it is very slow. It was Shivam Dubey who was trotting after it. He's got very delicate steps, as Shivam Dubey. Yeah, he wasn't sort of thundering in that sort of heavy-footed manner that you often see of a player going to the boundary. Very delicate.
So there might be an appearance on Dancing with the Stars, might be in line somewhere down the line.
You never know. I was thinking more of those like Spanish horses. Is it the Spanish horses that do that kind of very high stepping?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, but Darren Goff has done it. Mark Ramprakash has done it. So.
Well, that is true. Ramps has done it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Jones is going to face. Aaron Jones is facing Mohammad Siraj. Still the 2 slips in place. He's past the outside edge. Just held its line, really. Perhaps just shaped away off the pitch just a little bit. But it was too good for Aaron Jones, who Well, he was on the Piccadilly line and the ball was on the Bakerloo, as they say. There's a fine delivery. We're getting a close-up look at the pitch, unkindly compared to an old lady's legs in wrinkled stockings by somebody. But it does have that sort of veiny look. And the ball, when it has hit some of those like green ringlets, has been really difficult. That's past the outside edge again. That was a horrible shot, Segir, a horrible shot. Same problem, no footwork, swing at the bat.
No footwork, yeah. It's like a get out of jail free kind of shot, isn't it? Well, if you connect, great. If you don't connect, well, we're going down anyway. Well, might as well just do whatever we can. It was very similar to Steve Taylor's earlier waft outside off stump to Arshdeep, and there's hardly anything. In this one, I think the ball just moved slightly away.
Well, for a man who's made 130 runs before today and has yet to be out, you'd hope for a little bit more in the way of the feet sort of operating with the rest of the body somehow. In comes Siraj anyway, just 2 from the over. Jones has stepped back here, looking to carve to the offside, but it's past his outside edge again. And this over so far has just gone for that 2 that was scored off the second ball of the over. The other 4 balls have all been dot balls, and this is frustrating indeed.
Well, it looked like Aaron Jones was trying to get to King's Cross, because if he had to meet the Bakerloo and the Piccadilly, that was the one place where he could meet both of them.
Well, that's very good. It's a job waiting for you as an advisor for Transport for London, I suspect. That one's pulled high now. Is that going to go all the way? It is.
Third man.
Down to, I guess it was long leg, wasn't it? Because it was pulled away like that. But it has gone all the way. It is the first maximum, and I think they really did rather need that, did the USA. The scoreboard hasn't caught up with it, but I am right, that went for 6, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Went way over Arshdeep's head. And I think the good thing is, even the Indian fans are cheering the 6 because they know that they want an interesting game. They've probably paid a lot of money and they want some action.
Yep. Took a fair old while before Pistol put up his hands, but he did. We all saw it. Pistol, where were you? 16 for 2, 4 overs completed. Back to Messers.
Barong says, forget Kohli Cam. Will he be in the spotlight more times than the runs scored by the USA? And he says, Bish, Box Hill. It's a hill that resembles a box. Shite. 40 years ago, I used to ride my bicycle from Mount Waverley to Box Hill, 11 to 12 kilometres north, just to get my dick wet. Oh, too much information.
I'm sorry. I could think, to be honest, I could think of better ways to achieve that particular objective, but whatever floats your boat. Bumrah in, and this is tapped down towards third man. Shivam Dubey is at third man. He fields, and they take a single. It's good to see Bumrah into the attack. What a World Cup he's having so far. The man is absolute class. And I can't find, he's so classy, I can't find his jingle. Just when I wanted to celebrate him.
But he doesn't need one, just like Chuck Norris.
Here he is. Chuck Norris!
Nadamadi Bumrah, oh, you're bowling again, aren't you? Oh, I thought as much.
In comes Bumrah, and that's 2 quick lifts, a little bit, and is past Jones, who has a waft and a miss. And the ball is thrown to Virat Kohli, who, and there is hot news on Virat Kohli. He does sweat. Because we've just seen him wipe sweat from under his cap, his India cap, and apply it.
And he's never been seen at Pizza Express either.
No, he's never. Maybe he doesn't need to.
Wouldn't that be something if you did just pop into your nearest Pizza Express and you found Virat Kohli on the next day? What do you reckon he'd have?
Yorker on the cards?
Defended in front of his middle stump by Aaron Jones. I think he'd have something quite healthy. I don't think he'd have a pizza. I think he'd have possibly a cannelloni and a salad. Possibly a glass of Pinot Grigio. A what, sorry?
Alibi pizza.
Alibi pizza. I want to go back to Chuck Norris and just what's the Chuck Norris reference?
No, you said you couldn't find Bumrah's jingle, so I said that he doesn't need a jingle, just like Chuck Norris doesn't need anything.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise Chuck Norris was his unusual reference point. That was what fooled me. That one's again beating the inside edge this time as it swung in, and it goes through to Rishabh Pant. There is no run, just the one run from this Bumrah over. Oh, we're going to have us get across. They fly by these overs. I can tell you're going to be joined by James. Well, I'm staying on actually. In fact, I'm here chained to this sodding chair all afternoon because I'm the only one in the studio. They've cathetered me up. I can't even get up and go to the loo.
And I think Ajit's joining us as well after this over, isn't he?
He should be if he appears. So don't count on it necessarily. On to his toes goes Jones. Dabs towards mid-on. Arshdeep Singh fields. And there is no run, and there will be one ball left of this Bumrah over, which still has gone for just one. It means
it's good to see Aaron Jones actually using his feet. He did that earlier with Siraj as well, and now he's doing that to Bumrah as well, because he knows it's a difficult surface and he has a fair idea of what length these bowlers are going to bowl. And rather than try and create risky shots from where he is, I think he's just trying to
Taylor, the other end,
a few gaps.
Could learn by watching. In comes Bumrah. Full back foot defence by Jones into the offside. Fantastic tight over from Bumrah. Just the very first ball went for a single, and it means that after 5 overs have been completed, where are we, Messers? What's the score? I can't find it. Was it 10 still?
It is 17.
17 for 2. Slow going. 1 over left of the power play. Messers.
Are we due change or not?
We are due change.
Yeah, we are due change.
I should be joined by the estimably tall James.
Let's hand over the baton.
Ajit has joined us, so you can pass over that baton.
And the next tweet, Tony, is from the porn bot, actually directed at you, so that's appropriate.
That's worrying.
What a treat that is for you, Tony.
I can barely contain my enthusiasm.
I think we need some jingling, non-Chuck Norris jingling for Mr. Hardik Pandya.
We can do that for you.
The attack.
Here he is.
And in breaking news, Hardik Pandya.
And there he was.
There he was. I hope this isn't true, but I saw him before on the field and he did not have a headband on, and he seemed to have shed several sweatbands. No, the sweatbands are back on the arms, but the headband is gone. Big news in the world.
He's had a tonsure.
He certainly has. As he comes in again, pitched back a little bit. Taylor attempts to work that onto the leg, but Taylor is getting in all sorts of knots and twists at the moment.
I shouldn't use the word tonsure. Probably just a coiffeur will do in this case. Nonetheless,
he hasn't got a bald head. We should explain this. We are not seeing a monk-style Hardik Pandya running in, but he has had rather a kind of a go faster haircut, hasn't he?
If you, those that make you more aerodynamic, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear some interesting things about his private life in the yellow pages, but we mostly ignore them, I think. But Hardik Pandya, the bowler, has come good for India, and they'll be very happy about it.
But here he comes again to prove this. Taylor this time can play it out onto the offside. He scurries through for the first, hoping to get down for the second, but there's no second run on. Really? Okay, I'm obviously now going to say, what are those stories about?
Well, I'm going to say, what's that got to do with the yellow pages?
It's not the yellow pages. What do they call them? I
was going to say, it's not hardly J.R. Hartley, is it? Hardik Pandya's sex life and J.R. Hartley. I mean, what's
I mean, the suggestion
what's happening there?
Fly fishing could take on a whole new context.
Yes.
Within that, he's going to put his rod away. What is he known for in his private life, Ajit?
Well, we hear some trouble brewing between him and his wife, but I think she quashed it pretty quickly, if I'm not wrong.
Dial 1-800 Hardik.
Yeah. That would be quite. I mean, there might be a line like that.
Yeah.
Look in the yellow pages, apparently.
Available 24/7, double rates at weekends, perhaps, and the World Cups. As he comes in again, Mr. Yellow Pages, it's nudged out there by Jones for no run. Yeah, Pandya, it feels like at some point in this World Cup, and this probably isn't the match, but he will have a moment and will carry India home when they need him.
Oh yeah, how they would love that, indeed, absolutely. And I think he may very well see something like this in one of the next stages. I think.
Yes, I agree.
Remaining games for India will be Canada and US. Maybe his expertise will not be called upon so much.
Yeah.
And Well, this is still a bowling-friendly pitch, so I think he's going to do a good job with the ball today. He started well at least, considering just 1 run of 4 balls.
Yeah, which is, it's sort of par for the course at the moment. So just to catch everyone up, the USA are currently 18 for 2 or 5.4 as he comes in again. Good tight line is played back to him by Jones. Jones currently on 10 from 18. He's been one of the gun batsmen this tournament, hasn't he? But he's looked uncertain today.
He's done well. I, however, think they've gone a bit into the shell. That was a hittable ball. That was a full ball on leg stump. Why wouldn't he go in the air? He's still in the power play. I think there's too much in the mindset of sort of playing out carefully. But
what's the lowest power play we've had this tournament? Because we're only on 18 here, and the power play is about to be done. That's got to be the lowest so far, isn't it?
In my mind, maybe there was a lower, but as he comes in again, and this time he goes to pull it, gets underneath it, gets absolutely nothing of it. Hardik looks at him in disbelief, as though he's called him for the wrong job on the yellow pages. And they finish the over with the USA 18 for 2 from 6. Tony.
He's letting his fingers do the walking. Yes, the Naked Fun porn bot says participating in a Bishop game will lead to a lawsuit and excommunication. Warren says the comparison was the New York with the New York pitch and a witch's varicose vein ridden leg. Okay, well, good to know. Thank you for that. Let me swing on to YouTube.
Yeah, what's happening on there?
Well, I'll let you know in a moment.
Oh, it's exciting. The anticipation is building.
Well, exactly. It's all about timing. It's all about timing.
It's a cricket always is.
Okay. Let me see. Pokey, it's not like England have had much chance to excel, but they haven't grasped the nettle in either game. We'd go along with that.
Well, Bumrah comes in now and holding the ball as though he's grasping a nettle, but it is right on the money, as it always is, to Taylor, who half tries to play it on the onside and it goes out onto the offside. Bumrah zeroing in on his man already. Any other YouTube posts?
Yes. Pokey Bumfigure says that's not sweat, it's angel tears, referring to Virat's the fluid, the body fluid that his coliness is imparting upon the ball.
In this day and age where you can buy things on the OnlyFans, where bodily fluids are put in bottles, I think somebody will be out there ready to pay some money.
Bumrah in again and just about kept out by Taylor, who takes a single to add insult to injury.
Well, the only thing I can
that
say,
was a beautiful French cut. Not even a French cut, Chinese cut.
Trying to change the subject now. I was about to comment that he seems to have a rather in-depth knowledge of OnlyFans there, Ajit. But
yeah, I think revealing my peccadillos, what I do in the weekends, a little bit more than I should here. So I'll keep that to myself, maybe.
I feel like Patreon is the kind of learner drug into OnlyFans. As the USA are able to scurry a single there.
This is good cricket.
So it is. I think ticking it over, it's just about being sensible, isn't it? And I think part of being sensible is taking the opportunity to score when you've got it.
Correct. I think they've decided, at least the top 4 or 5, they'll take 10 balls each. Even if the run rate dips a little, you can make it up. There are big hits possible. What I've been reading is, on this sort of a pitch, especially New York, about 55 to 60 dot balls are on average in a T20 innings. Wow. That's quite unheard of, but that's what's happening over the last 3 games. Let's see if it continues today. Will somebody bell Mr. Bumrah?
Yes, ready again. Hesitantly hop, jumping his way in, and bowling looked very much like a wide delivery.
Should be widened, I think.
No, he's got away. I sense he's got away with that simply because it's Bumrah and they presume that he can't bowl a wide delivery. But I think Neil will agree that it was
wide. That should have been widened. All right,
anyone else is wide, but as it turns out, a really good delivery because Taylor couldn't get hold of it at all. Bumrah isn't bothered. His head cocked as it always is as he comes into the wicket down number 93. And this time it's high on the offside. Taylor goes to uppercut it. I think misses it completely, but unfortunately...
No, I think he's nicked that one.
I think he's nicked that.
Yeah. That was a chance. Very tough one.
All the way for a 4, yeah.
Oh, 4 wides. This one has been wided.
And 2. And 3.
This one has been wided. I think for the height mostly.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I think he would have done that well to get that. A submarine shoving its periscope up.
It was very tough on the keeper.
That one. Very tough on the keeper. Bumrah comes in again. This time he finds his line.
Oh dear!
Scurries down
Batsman
the pitch,
halfway and
single, moves back, almost a run out. Virat, those sweaty fingers had no problem gathering up the ball there and throwing in, but that was very nearly a comical mix-up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of Taylor ran down the pitch, slipped, while both batsmen were sort of within shaking distance. No, I think, Aaron Jones was sort of in the right place and Kohli threw it in the wrong end. He threw it probably at the end where the batsman was a bit more careful, the non-striker. The striker did all the adventure. He ran, slipped, fell and scampered back somehow.
I think it's one of those that was unlikely to lead to a run out, but very likely to lead to a heart attack. If you can imagine that, particularly when Taylor Studs gave out underneath him, which sounds like another OnlyFans piece of content. Bumrah comes in maybe to complete his over.
I think that's out.
Beats him on the off. Has he got a nick on that?
No. There is no reaction at all from the Indians. So.
The over is over. And quite an eventful over at that. Tony, what is happening in the social verse?
Well, Muttley's joined us. Woof! Afternoon, primates. Sorry I'm late. Had a meeting, then needed a shower before my guests arrived this evening. Love and sausages. Was it a particularly energetic meeting, Mutters? Or you're just freshening up for your guests, which I suspect is more the case. Not that I would know, of course. Let me see. Dan De Castro, boy, Bumrah is so unhittable. Never has a bad GM. Was same in the IPL. What's a GM in that context? Never has a bad GM. Game, probably, I guess.
Game, probably.
Yeah, game. Sagir Pakar, bless his cotton socks, has donated a super chat to ease Tony's time in that chair for 3 hours.
Tony is
Fantastic.
very much our Prometheus today. We've bound him to a rock and he will not move. As Hardik Pandya comes in again, beautiful line, beautiful length. Jones uncertainly squirtles it out into the offside where we can see Kohli getting a little bit more camera footage. Less sweaty than he was before.
I dare say they're being way too cautious here. I mean, this was just another ball straight on the leg stump. You should be able to nurdle it somewhere into the leg. There are no infielders except for a mid-on. That was an easy run.
I think they're nervous. And I think particularly because Jones has been so central. I mean, he hasn't been out so far, has he, this tournament?
He hasn't.
They're trying to preserve him. As Pandya comes in again, it's shorter this time. It's pulled round by Jones. It's heading towards the boundary. But it is pouched by the fielder. And for the first time in this World Cup, Aaron Jones is out. Leaving USA.
I had to say that.
5-3.
You're gone.
You blotted his copybook. He was all right.
Yeah.
Until you had to mention
what do you make of that? I think a good delivery in these circumstances.
No, it was a setup. You saw it coming.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing how he was sort of hanging back, the next logical step was to sort of try and hit his throat. There is always a fine leg for this sort of a shot, and it went straight into his hands. It was a good piece of bowling, but sort of very predictable if you're a if you're a bowler who was sort of
classic leg trap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a clear leg trap.
It was a leg trap, but it means a new batsman has come in, Nitish Kumar.
Yes. Oh, this was probably the Canada captain, and he did well against Pakistan. In that he's the one that hit the last ball for a 4 to tie the game.
Here
and these two are the two that really took.
You won't keep
Sorry,
Nitish Kumar down. After he kills and eats you, he'll still be around.
Good point, the jingle. He's been around for more than a decade already, and he's only in his, I think, early 30s, if that.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's had a good record with Canada. He's a cricket. We could say he's did a reverse Benedict Arnold. He betrayed his home country to go to the USA and help them out. But here he is now, and the USA could do with some of his Canadian know-how as Hardik comes in again. Well, it keeps low this time, but the experience Nitish is able to force it back down the pitch. No run there.
Bang on the money though, Hardik. He's doing well.
Yeah, he is. I agree with you. I think he's doing really, really well here, showing the necessary variation around about the good line and length that he can pull out of his hat at the moment.
Apparently, there's both a deep square leg and a fine leg, so it was not the best shot you would play under the circumstances.
No.
Probably he thought he can control it, or probably he was going to hook it out of the ground.
Well, he was out of control, wasn't he, when he played it? That was
it hurried him. The ball was quick enough.
Hardik once more, again on the money, but Nidish is able to push it down the ground and scamper like a border terrier through for a single there, leaving the USA on 26-4. Important partnership, this, I think.
Absolutely vital if you're the USA fan. And also, I think these two need to take USA somewhere close to 80-90 in some even time. Let's say in about 10 hours time, if they find themselves around 92-93, that's a good place to be. But they have some work to do then. They have to score at above 7 and over. That'll take some getting, the way they're going.
Yeah, and Taylor's not looked in any sort of form so far, not in the tournament at all, certainly not in this match. He's currently on 6 from
big
16.
He's a big hitter.
Yeah,
he needs to get those long levers and that big mass. He's a big unit. He can get that going.
As Pandya comes in again, this time it's cut out by Taylor, but there is no run once more. Yeah, perhaps he's more of a down the ground V hitter than a backward of square hitter.
Correct. I mean, he's more straight bat through the line sort of a player, and those are not the players that will succeed in this pitch, because off a good length, just back of a good length, it's very tough to play. The ball really doesn't come on, or it really hurries on. You've seen both in this over. Yeah, Hardik has kept a sort of a backward point, so that means there is enough pace on this pitch by the looks of it.
Yeah, it does feel like it's sort of playing to his weaknesses. As Pandya comes in again, this time he gives himself some room on the offside, but he can just only play it down the ground. Again for no run, leaving at the end of the 8th over USA on 26-4-3. Tony?
Yes, the estimable Brian Barish says, I feel the scores would be higher if they just brought in a chunk of the Long Island Expressway to bowl on. Lack of imagination from the ICC. For Wrong, who's laid this out rather interestingly in single words, sort of in descending downwards as it were. Thus far, more Kohli Cam than runs he has scored this tournament. Possibly, actually,
somebody had to say that.
True. Leah, I mean, they sold gladiators sweat in ancient Rome, and aren't athletes basically gladiators with a little less bloodshed? Yes, you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, there was not a whole lot of bloodshed either. Not every time when gladiators met.
Neil Harris says it's amazing how tears leads to OnlyFans. Sagir Pakar says a few people, especially women, sell all kinds of stuff nowadays over the internet too. Ooh, hello. Muttley says, NVM, I understood that. You're just freshening up. I didn't wake up till 1 p.m, meeting at 2 till 3:30 p.m, then shower. Okay. Good to
here's
know.
something interesting. The big unit himself is coming, and the first delivery is dabbed down in the region of third for a 4.
I think that was an edge. I have not called it a dab. He's got the result.
And in a tribute to Frank Sinatra, it was the bowler is Doobie Doobie Doo.
He's Dubé, but we'll take it.
Well, he's not. Well, that doesn't quite suit the Frank Sinatra comment then, does it? I thought he dabbed that rather well, I've got to be honest.
In he comes again. This time he veers down towards the leg side. It's more runs to be taken gratefully by Nitish there. Are you both aware of the musical instrument, the doob? Have you heard of the doob?
The doob?
No.
I bet some of our listeners will. If I told you, rather oddly, it's a percussion instrument invented by former footballer Dion Dublin. It is a box that can be used to play. I don't know how successful it's been, but if anyone wants to look up Dion Dublin and his doob, I mean, it sounds like
Dion Dublin was quite famous for his doob, but I wasn't aware it was particularly a percussion instrument.
As Dubé comes in and there is no run.
Gets the feeling you're referring to different doobs, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe one was maybe the inspiration for the other. Maybe he was showering one day and the sound came off, and he thought, "Hello, we've got something here." He's a man of many talents. Also a presenter on Homes Under the Hammer now.
Oh wow,
he is. Yeah, that's
quite a
right.
transition.
He has the hairdresser or barber, should I say? Dubé coming in again. This time Taylor just manages to keep it out, no run. I used to go to a barber's that just would continuously have Homes Under the Hammer on.
Perfect.
And every single time I went, my barber would point to the screen and go, "Is that Dion Dublin?"
Yeah, it does, mate.
We've done this before.
Wasn't it Homes Under the Hammer that Bear used to do all the camera work on?
Oh, nice.
I think
Nice,
it was,
nice,
to be
nice.
honest. I think that was Homes Under the Hammer was his claim to fame on his
Really? Okay.
camera production CV.
As he
wow.
can do it short this time. It gives Taylor something to think about, and he can swat it over to the boundary
There you
for
go.
a big 6.
It was great shot. It's gone.
Now he shows us. Now he shows us what he's capable of. So he's as good across as well. I mean, I was just going to say Dubé is sort of settling into a decent rhythm. That first ball was not bad either, but now I think he was a bit too short. Finally, they have probably it could be the pace. The difference is that he's closer to he's hit he's hit one of the security guards straight on the shoulder.
He's taken down the security guards. This feels like the sort of a heist movie now. As it is just dabbed down this time, much better delivery. The line is better this time. So at the end of an eventful over there with 11 from it from Dubé, USA are 37 for 3.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. Hattie.
Oh, he's actually a policeman. NCPD.
Hattie the Batty 2486 says, "Afternoon. All the sun has just come out, so I'm taking you into the garden." Oh, fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Come into the garden, Maud. Which one of us is Maud? I don't know. Sagir Parker says, "Little trivia. Nitish Kumar is also the name of a politician in one of the Indian states. This one is not to be mistaken for him." Okay, fair enough. Chris the Choir, that's the Dublin Dube demo link. Okay. Dubé isn't the sort of bowler who should be bowling short given his pace. Ajit gets the point. Yes, he does indeed.
Yes. I think we're seeing why maybe he hasn't bowled so far in the tournament. He certainly was hit around about as much as Dion Dublin's do would be in that over. Unfortunately.
Fair enough. Keeping the same. That's good. The same anecdote going. That's all right.
Yeah, man.
India
We're going to get those sails up, but there's a change of bowling here, and Akshar is into the attack. Shall we jingle him or wait to the next ball, Tony?
He'll not give you much time.
Wait for the next ball, because I was just catching up on what tweets to read
Number
next.
20, Akshar, in again, slightly towards the leg side, so Nitish is able to manipulate it for a single.
Akshar Patel, yes. Is he the one was something about Battenberg cake? Here he is.
Sure, Patel. Okay, maybe.
A different jingle these days. Short and sweet.
For the third ball in the over, and again Taylor is able to take a single from it, just forcing it out into the off, just ticking over. And I think this is what they've got to do.
This is good batting.
Yeah, I agree. Rotate the strike, keep it ticking over. We're looking out for any updates on the injured Copper.
He seemed to be walking off with somebody from one of the teams, probably a physio of the team, asking if he needs a spray or maybe he can take a look. It could hit him high on the left shoulder.
Yeah.
Probably away from all the important organs and so on, but still it'll hurt like hell.
Yeah,
it took you by surprise. It was a sixer after.
I've got visions of him heading off to the USA coach and slitting the tyres. Just to give them something to, and then picking them up on or breaking a headlight, then picking them up on the highway later and calling them over for it. That's what police do. Come on, this is what we need from it. Now, what's happening here? There's a bit of a pause.
They were looking at the ball, and there was some concern about this.
We're keeping the ball. It looks as though it's fine. This always happens. As soon as someone hits a 6, there's got to be something wrong with the ball.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't have gone for a 6 otherwise. But anyway, they're settling down again, and Akshar doesn't really have very far to walk to the crease, does he? Let's be honest. It's driven. It's driven this time through extra mid-widding, and maybe just for a single again. Again, as you were saying, Ajit, just keeping it ticking, sensible batting.
Absolutely correct. I mean, you get a bit more of a go. You get a bit more of an idea what the ball is doing off the pitch. You're just dunking it down the ground the whole time, and the score keeps moving. This is the thing they need to do. They've bogged themselves down a bit too much.
This time there's a slashing drive attempted, but the amount of effort that went into it only actually resulted in one run for Taylor there. We've got one ball remaining in this over. There's been 4 from it so far, and then we're due a change.
You're staying on, and I believe you are going to be doing social media duties.
That's correct, yeah. As Akshar completes his over. A bit shorter this time, rocks back, plays it into the off. It'll just be a single again. So after 10 overs, the US survey are 42 for 3.
A couple of quick messages, and then I'll finish up on Twitter, and then I'll let you pick up on YouTube. N, who is Nathaniel Furphy, says, "You lovely people have never been synced so much with my TV coverage. Brilliant." Oh, well, we're delighted. The Jersey Jingler says, "Not so sneakily watching in my classroom, so I am now explaining cricket to some students from Lebanon, Turkey and Haiti. Gotta love the USA." Elixir of Azazel says, "We're going to build a partnership and the Indians will pay for it." Yes. He says, "I think summoning up is in a trump." And with that, James, I'm going to make myself invisible on YouTube. I shall sit here and silently button press and leave you and Sagir and Richard Asher, I hope. Richard, are you there?
I'm there, and keep it up with the silent button pressing. We'd be nowhere without you.
I'll do my best. Cheers, guys.
It's nice to be called lovely people, isn't it? Even if we actually are in our first commentary stint, I'm taking the compliment along with everyone
we'll
else.
take it.
Whoever it was that said that on social
Bloody
media.
glory hunter.
It's what keeps us ticking along. That and the massive super chat donations, preferably 4 figures. We're at the drinks break, are we not? That's why we're having extended adverts on our screen.
Absolutely.
On Dubé, just before I forget, also a very common Zulu name in South Africa.
Yes, yes. I saw a lady in one of my clinics once, and her last name was Dubé, and I thought, is she married to an Indian guy and taken up his surname? So I asked her, and she said, no, she's South African, and it's a fairly, not common, but it's not uncommon or rare to find that sort of surname in South Africa. And I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Exactly, and we also have a musician and also a Dubé musical connection that is the reggae performer. I had to look this up. Lucky Dubé. He is famous enough that the name at least rings a bell in my head.
That's great.
Someone who knows nothing about culture.
Let's get him on the do. Lucky Dubé on the do.
Let's get them together.
This could happen. This is going to be how the collaboration happens.
And the connection to cricket will be they'll do it on the square at Lord's.
There you go. Exactly. They'll do a concert at Old Trafford so that they can.
Yeah, if all those famous musicians could do it for Live Aid and the other concerts that they did, surely we can make this happen.
Yeah, Dubé. Come on, let's start Dubé now.
Got a ring to it. Yeah. Is it a very common name in India as well?
Yeah, Dubé definitely, especially in northern India, mostly like Uttar Pradesh, and I think some of them from the surrounding areas as well. It's a very common surname.
Not so many cricketers in the Indian international side in recent.
No, I think the competition to get into the international side is very fierce. I mean, it's only in the last 10 years or so that you've got players from some of the tier 2 cities and towns getting into the national team.
That is true. Siraj is probably the most optimistic appeal I've ever seen. Missing a third set of stumps down leg, possibly, or am I being harsh? Maybe it was only 2.
Maybe missing another set, really, yeah.
But he realized it quickly that, it was definitely going down leg and just zipped his mouth shut.
As countries go, competition to get into the national team in any sport in India, I think is at a premium. This one is launched over the head of mid-off and is going to be cut off very athletically. Right on the rope. Sky?
Probably Sky who came in from mid-off. That's him.
It was a half-timed drive, and there was plenty of time for Sky to get round if indeed it was him. And the batters got back for... did anyone notice how many?
No, the cameraman didn't show what the batters were doing, isn't it?
Well, we're at their mercy, so we'll let you know as soon as we figure it out.
Was he on the rope when the ball bounced back into his arm that second time?
Well,
No.
Cricket for scorecard says 2 runs.
There we
2
go.
runs, very close to being 4, but ultimately well cut off there. And here's Siraj again. Into Nitish. This is also angled well down the leg side. This time Nitish gets bat on it into the acres of space out on the leg side. He'll grab one.
I think the other thing to note is, unlike Canada that have, probably 2 bona fide batters, USA has got a few more options who can hang around and play. And I think for USA, even if they manage to play out the full 20 overs and get to perhaps 100, 110, that would be quite a significant achievement for them.
And a competitive total, bearing in mind everything's happened on this pitch.
Yes, yeah, on this pitch, yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Siraj continues. This time he's slashed out into the offside aerially by a Taylor, and there'll be one more run because there was loads of space out there as well, but a man on the boundary, of course.
Sometimes it's difficult to figure out what sort of field Siraj is bowling to because there's just so much variation in his over. And surely you're not changing the field as much. So, it does raise the question as to whether he's bowling according to a plan or is just taking it ball by ball.
Well, the graphic we're seeing now tells us that he's got more of a leg side field, 5 on the leg side.
There's no business bowling short on the off.
So areas again to the right-hander. Who knows? The field may have changed again. But what hasn't changed is there's lots of space down to the straight boundaries, and he profits from that with another single.
But these are risk-free runs for USA over here, isn't it? I mean, they don't really have to do much. Just tap the ball along the ground, hit it in the gap, and you're easily getting 5 or 6 runs per over. I mean, it keeps the scorecard ticking.
It's another marvellous advert for these low-scoring games because, again, a shocking start. Here they are, 47 for 3, and we're all thinking, do you know what? If they can just bat their 20, they're going to have something to bowl at. It's brilliant. I mean, and in some other tournaments you can think of, and on some other pitches you think, only 2 sixes that over, not good enough. This one is steered in the air on the offside, down for 1 run to backward deep square leg, and concludes the over. Siraj grabs his hat. 48 for 3 is the score after 11.
Okay, so over on YouTube, we've got, I'm going to mangle the pronunciation, so apologies, but Best Kurzesbein saying that, oh my God.
Leah for short.
Leah
Not
for
helping
short.
you.
Yeah. Saying that NCPD Piggy is sporting a nice meat apron. Joe Dredd, he's not. Absolutely right. And then Hattie the Batty saying, Mr. Bishop, this is God's honest truth. My full name is Harriet Elizabeth Maud Atkinson. A right bloody mouthful. So Tony was quoting some Tennyson, Coming to the Garden, Maud. Dan De Castro, just lastly, obviously USA won't win, but they can keep it respectable if they get to 110.
Hattie's full name definitely belongs in some Victorian novel, I should think. Here's Axar to continue. He's cut away into the deep by Stephen Taylor, who will get 1 run. It is the story of the middle overs. Lots of space, and they're using it. Oh, apparently they got back for 2.
Wow, that was a quick run there.
Well, there's more than one way to use the space. This time he goes on the sweep, does Taylor. He misses it. There's half an appeal as it grabs him on the pad.
Yeah, Stephen Taylor on one knee in that slog sweep is almost as tall as Rishabh Pant. Isn't he just from that image? Look at that shot.
Oh, lovely drive over, long off there. 6 runs.
That was a very Chris Gale-like hoik, isn't it? Well, it's not hoik, it's just through the line.
Kept the fielder interested, you have to say.
Yeah, it did.
But just enough in it. It caught the top of the fence behind the boundary rope. So had the fielder been right there, you'd think he might have been able to pouch it. But Axel's ready to go again. The lights are flashing on the stumps. Bowled or stumped, I can never quite tell when it's the spinner. But at any rate, Taylor's on his way for 24 off 30.
Might have been off an inside edge or got the pads and then...
Here comes a replay of what happened. The ball landed on the pitch and grabs an inside edge as he does an ugly sort of half chop, half drive, half cut with an angled bat. A bit of a nothing shot with no real space to work with, and all he's managed to do is catch the inside edge and drop it onto the stumps.
Well, Ajit did mention earlier that he's more of a sort of a player who likes to, or is more suitable for playing in the V.
Yeah,
and I think this was an example of that his judgment against anything back of length also seems to be suspect. So his answer to that is just plonk that front foot and see if you can play any cross-batted shot. Except for the pull, I don't think he's very strong on the square drives or square cuts.
Yeah, those last two balls really were an illustration of that. The straight-ish drive disappearing for 6 and then the dismissal. Anyway, I've got a new batsman. I'm sure he must have a jingle because he's got a heck of a story. Might want to look under New Zealand if you can't find him under USA. The Bish is on it.
Oh, he's always switched on.
Come on, Bear. He's not even there. How can you not have Corey Anderson? I'll have to search him. Give me some time.
It's in the All Blacks folder, I tell you. Anyway, T20 international career. Oh, they just got rid of the graphic before I could say anything. Anyway, he's earned plenty of caps with New Zealand before being here at the Americans. Gets pretty much the same ball that just got Mr. Taylor out and does a better job with it, I have to say. Doesn't get an inside edge. Actually gets it off the middle of the bat out to point, deepish, and there's one run for him. He's off the mark.
Well, at one time, Corey Anderson was the holder for the fastest ODI 100 as well. I mean, admittedly, it was a very small ground in Queenstown, but still.
Yeah, and it was 10 years ago, but still good to have that on your CV.
Exactly, exactly.
New Zealand is the place to ply your trade if you want to set that sort of record. They've got all sorts of curiously shaped grounds with short boundaries. This one goes down leg, and there's an easy one to call wide for Paul Rifle. It is Paul. Am I going mad?
It is Paul Rifle. No, it is Paul Rifle. I mean, I just wanted to point out at that attempt at stumping, like Rishabh Pant's keeping behind the stumps has really improved quite significantly in the last 2 to 3 years.
That one's also angled down leg side, just pops up where there's no fielder around. Unluckily for India, Pant has to run across and do the fielding. They scamper one.
And it's nice to see that post-injury, he's back to his usual sort of athletic self behind the stumps, because that short ball, I think it was of Bumrah that went for 4 wides, that leap to his left in the air and the distance that he covered in an attempt to get that ball was also quite significant.
Also proves
I
his
have
fitness.
news. I've found him, and here he is.
Hey.
Was he under the New Zealand team?
Corey Anderson used to play for New Zealand, but greener pastures in the US cold, so he plays for the 17.
Got a very fluffy haircut. I don't know if it was always like that, but he looks a bit like Jacques Callas after the implants. I assume he's all natural, as they say. Hardik, here we go. Starts a new over, and Nitish gives himself space, carves it out into the offside, not entirely gotten hold of, but I think they're going to get back for 2 runs as it lands in space. They're doing pretty well at landing the ball in space at the moment.
Yeah. I think the other thing to sort of be mindful of is, with USA scoring these runs and sort of trying to maintain their net run rate is also equally important for them, just in case somehow there is a threat to their progress into the Super 8s. So it kind of works in their favor if they keep on stretching this as far as they can.
Hardik continues. That's a nice straight ball, and it's actually blocked by Nitish. Whenever we talk about net run rates and that sort of thing, calculations, first of all, my head threatens to explode. Second of all, I think back to the World Cup in South Africa 2003, when there was a very emotional moment for home fans like ourselves when there was a Duckworth-Lewis miscalculation during a chase.
Didn't Sean Pollock have a piece of paper in his pocket?
I know, which is what makes me wonder. I mean, times have probably moved on, and our team's travelling around with mathematicians in their back rooms. But anyway, we'll carry on after this ball on that conversation. With this ball is hit straight back over Hardik's head. It is miles over the rope.
You reckon 80 meters?
there's no one there to play us a jingle, so I think we keep on talking. The bishop's chair is conspicuously empty.
The throne has been abdicated. Religion will fall. There is no bishop.
Oh, and it's the 200th tournament 6, and we're not going to have a jingle.
Oh, the moment! Only you missed the greatest moment in cricket. A hell of a hit, though, wasn't it? 88 metres.
It's a magnificent shot, like absolutely straight, went with the line and just on the rise.
Hardik responds with a short one, and the camera shifts
Shouldn't
to the
that be a
square leg
wide?
umpire, but he's looking down at the ground, inspecting his shoes, and not giving a wide signal.
I've seen balls that weren't as high as this given wide.
Yeah, well, you're asking for consistency there.
True.
And to be perfectly honest, but how many meters was that? 88?
88.
88, yeah.
Tony's back. Maybe we should update him that the 206
I suppose
of the tournament
I
has been
suppose
hit.
we could justify a late jingle since it was a milestone 6, perhaps. Perhaps after this delivery we could have it, because Hardik's on his way in already. And it's a lovely straight drive along the ground this time. It's going to only be 4. How about 2 jingles in a row? I'll leave it over to our studio man.
I believe in miracles. Since you came out to bat, you 63.
Giuliani had his reasons for selecting his landscape seasons. There were 4.
Hardik to complete his over, and he'll complete it with the dot ball as it's fielded out. It went 71 for 4 after 13. I guess we're due a social catch-up.
We absolutely are, yes. So we've got Stephen Kelk saying, I feel some metaphors, similes on their way. Dan De Castro saying 120 is like a par on this pitch anyway. Chris the Choir, surely it should be the bear on Doob with a doobie-doo-doo, brackets Barloo. Loquat says, resurrect Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn, and we're back in this. Stephen Kelp again, if the Pornbot was here, he would say Bear and Lou, not Bear and Do. Chris the Choir pointing out that Corey Anderson sounds like the name of an Icelandic Indian chef. And useless governments, you'll like this, USA will be given a stern lesson today to not become complacent and proud-hearted because you beat Pakistan. Today you will be humbled.
What can we add? Not a lot. It's Axar ready to go already. He's going to get a dot ball to his name as Anderson finds the man-saving one on the leg side.
You know, after 13 overs, 71 for 4 is a reasonably respectable score on this pitch.
This one is cut, and there'll be just the 1 for Anderson, bringing Nitish back on strike.
Yeah, there's Graeme Smith in the comps. Truly one of South Africa's finest.
And also Yuvraj Singh, who brought out the trophy before and got a decibel rating. I noticed that's a thing now. He's got a 123 decibel rating. Beat that if you can.
Yeah, well, Ravi Shastri always tries, doesn't he, with his own voice.
Yeah. And Danny Morrison, you know, is his closest competitor, I would say.
Delicate dab through the vacant slip area there by Nitish, was it not? For another 1.
Yeah.
Axar continuing around the wicket. Anderson tries to work it away on the leg side. It doesn't really get a whole lot on it. Squirts out, and Hunt does the fielding. And Axar's already at the top of his run again. And really, he's having to wait for the batsman to be ready. Here he is now. Anderson takes strike, makes a lot of room for himself, and an enormous slog sweep. It's gone, folks. It's gone.
It's a home run.
One talk over the line, sweet Jesus. One talk over the line.
It's good to see a lot of Indian descent fans in the stands that are supporting the USA as well.
Yeah, nice.
Whereas for the first match, USA versus Canada, there was a lot of idiots wearing India and Pakistan t-shirts. And I think there were a few with RCB t-shirts as well. And I thought, well, what sort of Muppets are you guys?
Bit of a messy final delivery there in the over. It's another one that just squirts out into a vacant area, and the rather surprised batsman managed to scrape a single off it. So it's 80 for 4 to conclude the 14th.
Right, over on Twitter, we've got Furphy Nathaniel pointing out correctly that Stuart Law is the USA coach, amazing player and coach. Elixir saying Shadley Van Shalquick sounds like an Eminem alter ego. Could probably kill him off as well.
Sounds like a mispronounced South African name again.
Oh,
we don't take it. We don't take it personally anymore.
Stop having such difficult names. Oh no, there's more pronunciation news. That the Jersey Jingler says, sorry to burst the doob bubble, but Dion Dublin pronounces it Jube. So I'll go with the inventor's way of saying it. Oh, Jersey Jingler, what have you done to us?
So, Richard, how is that name pronounced then? The Van Schalkwijk.
Assuming it is South African, I haven't seen the spelling, but it should be Van Schalkwijk.
Okay.
Here's Archdeep to continue. Anderson comes in at him again. It just pops out of the leg side, which was not the intention, but they'll get one.
Yeah, that might just be my microphone playing up because that's exactly how I pronounce it. I don't know what I don't know what you heard.
Your acoustics come across as excellent to me.
Oh no, okay, no, it just comes in and out, you know.
It's as if there's an engineer in your sitting room dedicated to your sound quality. It wasn't that.
He's definitely South African, born in Cape Town.
There you go. That last
played
six
for Free State, Western Province, the Eagles.
Ooh, bit of a tour of the country there. This one's a bouncer. There's going to be a duck
wide.
From Nitish, and it is called.
Wow, no wide again. No, it's not called wide. First bouncer for the over, apparently, but not wide.
But this is great at the moment. USA have the momentum in the game, don't they? Over the past couple of overs, they've wrested it back completely, and they are now the driving force.
Yeah.
A couple more overs without losing wickets here, and they could set one of the most imposing targets seen on this ground, and its long and illustrious history.
I think Canada holds that record at what, 137? Was it in their game over here?
That was so long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, just like last week.
Quite short there from Arshdeep, but it doesn't get up that high actually. There's a swing from Nitish Kumar, but he misses dot ball.
Do you think they wanted to, but the plan would have been to bring back Arshdeep now, or do you think they've been forced into that?
I think they have been forced into it because, the spinners are not being as effective as they would have wanted. And let me just check if Jadeja is actually playing this game.
Let's see if he's going to start throwing him wide again. No, this one's on the leg side and short, and it is pulled, but not convincingly. There's a man on the rope, and he's got it! Held it! It
what
is
a
Siraj.
catch!
Mohammad Siraj has landed on his back, but safely inside of the field of play with the ball in hand. Now he's making a show of how easy it all was, looking ever so casual about it. That was a mighty good catch, and it's the 5th wicket down. Nitish goes for 27.
I'm a loser. Yeah, I'm a loser, babe. I'm just a loser.
It was all about the jump, wasn't it?
Catch.
He was a little bit in from the rope. He didn't have to worry too much about going over it. He was a couple of paces in, but still, it needed quite the well-timed leap, and it was one that sent him into a half of a backward somersault, let's say, and keeping a hold of it all. Good going.
USA would have liked Nitish Kumar to hang around for at least another couple of overs.
Yeah, critical. I mean, now there's the chance they don't bat out.
Yeah.
That's a
and
big
Harmeet Singh can actually slog a fair bit, and he can have contribute to quite useful runs at a fast clip as well. But with another 5 overs left, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Stuart Law would have given him instructions.
And as we've seen, even good sloggers have struggled on these pitches.
Yes.
Although this one doesn't seem too bad today compared to some of what we've seen. Is that a fair comment? I haven't been paying as much attention as I might have. But
I think that's fair,
the bounce is a little bit more consistent, and it's not deviating off the pitch quite erratically.
So here we go, 2 balls left in the over, and in our commentary stint, Harmeet to face up for the first ball from Arshdeep, and it's right on the money, quite nice and full. He can't do much with that except dig it out. So it's a wicket and a... Not a wicket maiden. What do you call it when there's a wicket and one run?
A wicket and one
It's
run.
been one. It's
a wicket wanden, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, you know when you start a sentence and then you didn't think about how you were going to finish it. Anyway, Arshdeep is finishing his over. It's nice and tight, just back of a length outside the off stump. And there's going to be no run as the fielding is done quick, sharp from the man running in from point. So 81 for 5 after 15. I, at least, will be leaving you.
And then let's see, our next tweet is Elixir talking about Corey Anderson, and then our next one on YouTube is Chris the Choir talking about the Doob or the Jew.
Well, that should be Messers who'll take over that duty. Ajit should be sliding his armchair into position. I think I can see him there. He is indeed. Jasprit Bumrah doesn't have an armchair. He does have the ball in his hands. And
he does have a whip fast arm. Yeah.
Well, he certainly does. He has a fast arm, but without the chair.
Fair enough.
As he spins at the top of his mark, he's going to be bowling to everybody's favourite Herb, Corey Anderson.
Oh, come on.
Round the wicket he comes. It's beautifully played by Anderson. He just dabs it really fine through third and has got himself 4 pennyworth. Fine shot that. Fine shot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very clever that, and I dare say US have made up some good ground. If you remember, we were talking of being around 90 in the 17th over. They're actually well on track. They're probably going to surpass that.
Well, considering 18 for 2 in a power play, 18 in a power play. I mean, having sat through the IPL for goodness knows how, for several years. I mean, 18 in a power play is just so ludicrously low, and yet somehow this is just as gripping, I think. And I've heard a lot of people say the same. It's not always about the sixes that get hit as Bumrah comes around the wicket, digs that in, and it jumps up at Corey Anderson, who plays it down, but he won't get a run on that occasion. And it's 85 for 5. So for 18 for 2 off 6 to 85 for 5 off just over 15, we're in the 16th over. I think
very good batting.
I would say I'm with you, Ajit, 100%. That
credit to Nitish, and also of course initially a little bit to Taylor, then Nitish, but now Corey Anderson seems to be taking over. That was a very fortuitous breakthrough if you're an India team. Nitish was looking very comfortable. He was the only batsman scoring well above on a ball.
We hasn't really.
I noticed it was 63 metres, which
that's dabbed down to third as well.
Would have been 6 in the IPL.
I think so. Many grounds there, yeah.
And they take a single, so 5 off this Bumrah over. Expensive for him, the way he's been going this tournament.
Let me put it like this: they're on track to make about 130 if they keep going, and that will challenge.
Well, that will challenge
even
the record score in a competitive game. I think India
110, to be honest. Given the way this is going,
that's more par. I mean, the average first innings score has been about 107. I think is 107. Yeah. I can tell you that fairly definitively.
If they get to 120 plus, it's going to make a cracker of a game.
He's been in decent touch with the bat before this tournament. He made a 58 and a 34 not out in the series against Canada and Bangladesh, which was played down in Dallas. I think that's pulled away by Harmeet. Has he got it all the way? He has. He's hauled it away around the corner on the 45. Up go Paul Rifle's arms.
Nicely done.
And Harmeet Singh, take a bow, lad, because he's off the mark with one of these. He's quite a character, is Harmeet Singh.
Yeah, I mean, this sort of pedestrian treatment doesn't get meted out time. That was a top pitch.
It was 82 metres. He had literally no room to play that shot. It was at his hip. And yet somehow
he swiveled around, but it was a top edge.
It was a bit of a top edge.
The middle of the edge, so to say, as we call it.
Yes.
He's from Mumbai. He's certainly clearly of Indian descent. He's played for Rajasthan Royals. In fact, I think in days gone by, when the Royals had a sticky period with betting shenanigans, he was investigated, I think, and fully cleared, I think, Harmeet Singh.
Yes,
but he's that's driven uppishly, driven away, up and over extra cover. It should be hauled in short of the boundary. It is. and he will come back for
three.
3. So not too bad at all. He also got himself in trouble, apparently, for driving a car inside a railway station.
Probably, well,
which meant he was
not if it's
detained.
a full-sized car.
He was
Yeah.
detained by the police. And there are plenty of stories of indiscipline that flew thick and fast as Mumbai cricket basically kind of lost patience with him, apparently. So he was clearly young and daft, as many of us are when we're young.
Well, he seems to be maturing nicely here. and
Bumrah,
he
what
seems
an
to be
expensive
hitting.
over. This has been 10, 13, 14 from it so far. That's a Yorker towards Anderson's lower middle stump, and it's dug out effectively enough. 95 for 5. I reckon you're going to get more than that 107 average
For sure.
here. They
For
should
sure.
be ahead of that. 9 for Harmeet, the station car driver. 15 already off 11 for Anderson, and we can go to the Perth Weather Cave for messages.
Elixir of Azazel says Corey Anderson is now called Cilantro's son.
Oh, very good.
Our local pronunciation expert, Brian Barris, says it's Van Skalkvik.
Van
And he's a
Skalkvik,
damn wizard scientist. I've actually met Shedley when he played for the Seattle Thunderbolts of minor league cricket. Really nice guy and thoroughly enjoying growing the sport in Seattle and the US. Elixir says, thanks for reminding us that Shadley Van Skalkvik played for Eagles. Who can forget his solo on Hotel California?
I see.
Him and Joe Walsh.
Leah says, easy now, Shagir. One of those Muppets in a Windies cap and Kiwi test shirt at the India-Pakistan game was our own Mayank.
Hardwick's going to be in. An attempted pull again by Harmeet, and he's going to have to wear that one on the chest. Didn't get quite so lucky trying to pull that one, and there will
No
be
top hits this time.
no
So, but indeed,
run.
that was, however,
I can tell you, I can. If you've got a bit of time, I'll read you his long and illustrious IPL record.
all right.
Played one for Rajasthan Royals against Pune Warriors in 2013. Didn't bat. Did take 1 for 34. His one wicket was Ross Taylor, which is not a bad wicket,
Not bad.
really. And that
Must
was
be
it.
Bangalore then,
And
if
that
it's
is the
that
story
team. Yeah.
of Harmeet Singh's. He has been, though, likened to Bishan Bedi. Oh yes,
Illustrious. Big
Yeah,
name
well,
to
that
be
is
compared.
praise indeed. In comes Hardik. That's top edged. Is it going to be? Did he top edge it? It's gone to Pant. I don't
I don't
he
think so.
did. No, he didn't. And you're right. That is.
I think it took his upper arm or shoulder by the looks of it.
That isn't.
At least there's no excitement from the field.
Whoa! Steady on though, because they have reviewed it.
All right.
I saw that as a glove. I mean, in real time, that looked out to me. They
Fair enough.
certainly
Let's
deliberated. No one seems entirely sure. It looks to me like one of those. Well, we might as well reviews, as opposed to one that's sort of driven
Correct.
by absolute conviction. But we'll get a better view now because we're going to see a replay. It's quite short. It pitches up. Are we going to see enough? It's his shoulder.
Yeah,
Nowhere near. No wonder Rishabh Pant's not really excited by it all. And we will move on. It's a good bouncer actually by Hardik.
Yeah, it hit his upper arm shoulder region, and at least from what I saw in real time, it looked like that. But yeah, they're checking carefully if there's a nick. No. Nonetheless, good bowling. You're right.
Well, it was indeed. He made 34 not out and took 4 for 18 versus Canada in Dallas, and also got a few runs against Bangladesh. So he's definitely in the no mug with the bat category.
Oh, not with that 6, I think.
Is
At
Harmeet
least he
Singh.
had fast hands through the ball.
Anybody can get lucky once or twice, but he's got a body of work as a batsman without it being his primary forte, as it were.
Fair enough.
Certainly, all that trouble he got himself in, moving to the US wasn't at all a bad move.
No.
He's played for the Seattle Orcas, don't know much about them.
Oh, that's a MLC team. Yeah.
Hardik, what a ball that was. That was a fast Yorker.
Oof.
Dug out by
Happy to
our
play that out,
friend
I'm sure.
Harmeet. It was former Indian batting stalwart Dilip Sardesai, Dilip Sardesai, who compared Harmeet to his contemporary and spinning legend Bishan Bedi.
Big name.
That's a great Yorker, wasn't it? By Hardy.
I think it just hit him outside the leg. Otherwise, there was going to be an appeal on it too. Bat. Just
No,
the bat.
he hit it.
He hit
Yeah.
it. You're right. He hit it.
Hardick comes over the wicket. Short again. Oh, and that was a funny ball. It seemed to... It almost a slower ball bouncer. Harmeet sees the funny side of it. Hardick sees the funny side of it. We may have a short delay because I thought, chaps, that reared up and sort of smacked him on the side of the head.
No, I think it was a cutter. So it was about 7 to 8 mph
Oh,
slower.
again, it's the shoulder.
And it hit his helmet as well.
That's two bits of his body that I've mistaken. Each time was his shoulder. The first time I thought it was his glove. It wasn't. It was his shoulder. That time we thought it was his head. It wasn't. It was his shoulder. He's got a shoulder that looks like just about every other body part, I think.
I mean, in your defense, it did brush the helmet on the way up. So, yeah.
Well, maybe it did. Anyway, we shall move on. We won't even have to do the concussion checks or any of those things. It was in the process a leg by. 96 for 5. Down the track he comes. He's launched this high. No distance on it. Someone's got to be under it. It's Rishabh Pant who comes careering around. The man with the big gloves. The right man to take it. And I'm afraid our friend Harmeet was... it was Anderson, after all. That was Corey Anderson.
It was Anderson.
I beg your pardon. Corey Anderson, Siltrano Anderson, as he's now known as. He's gone. He's gone for 15. He's been caught by Rishabh Pant off an absolute steepler that Rishabh Pant had to really motor to get around towards square leg to field. He did. He took it cleanly enough in the end, and it's another wicket down for the USA, I'm afraid. We'll just give him this one. 15 off 12.
Another one bites the dust.
For Corey Anderson.
I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
But you know, Magic, you had to try and get things motoring along a little bit.
Yes.
And
he wasn't having the right idea.
96 for 6.
I mean, around that very costly over from Bumrah, Arshdeep bowled 1 run over and took a wicket. Now Pandya is on track. He's bowled 5 balls and considered 1 leg by.
And it is our friend. You know what? I did some notes yesterday, and the last man I did was our friend Shadley Van Shalvink.
Shalquake, but all right.
Shadley, well, isn't that how you say it? Shadley Van Shalvik? Shalvik, not Wink.
Yeah.
Shadley Van Shalvik.
Shalquake, yeah.
Well, he's facing Hardik Pandya, is Shadley, and that's short, and he ducks away, and it is through to Richard Pant, and there is no run. Now, I can almost, without any doubt at all, suspect... Oh, he's here! I can't believe it, he does have a jingle. Bear, you absolute hero. The last person I expected to find. Here he is.
Shadley be nimble, Shadley be quick. How the fuck did you pronounce a name like Shadley Van Shalvik?
I was just desperately hoping I wouldn't have to type him into the search engine to find him.
So you're being attention drawn to your knees, Tony. Brown in Brisbane says London weather there in Gorilla Towers must be warmer than the East Midlands.
It isn't. It's pretty cold.
I've got shorts.
I do. I have shorts on, but I have a jumper on.
It's weird weather here as well.
And
it's
it
very
is.
cold.
Tony notoriously has legs made of steel.
Something to do with the Gulf Stream, I believe. That's short. That's up in the air. Arshdeep Singh, has he got Harmeet? How far has it gone? Shaw's dropped. Dropped to deep mid wicket. Who was the butterfingered man there? It spent forever in the air. It was Mohammad Siraj who took an absolute corker of a catch earlier and was coolness in itself in celebrating it. This time he's trying to style out a pretty embarrassing drop, to be honest.
Yes.
Net result is 1 more to the score. Let's have a look. It was hauled away high and handsome in front of those big temporary stands, and he just misjudged it. Just misjudged it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it may have swung a little away from him in the last second.
Is that Sirakume Yadav who was coming in from sort of the deeper mid-wicket boundary, and maybe that just caught the corner of his eye? But you've got to be taking them.
No, but he had enough.
3 for 6. What a day out he's having. Van Shalvik shall score his first run because he's steered that away towards point, and he is off and running. What can I tell you about our friend?
This is
Mr.
the
Van
last
Shalvik.
recognized pair as well for the US. So they'll want these two to complete the remainder of the overs.
Well, they will. He's from Cape Town. He's 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's played for Western Province. He's played for Los Angeles Knight Riders.
A Safa playing for another country? That's unheard of.
I know, it's
Who would
hard
have
to
thunk it
believe.
and so on. Yeah.
That's a swing and a miss, an attempted pull
Is that
away.
out?
Oh, he's got
That's
an edge.
out.
Has he? He's got a top edge?
Yeah.
Yes, he has 4 wickets now for the deadly Arshdeep Singh for just 7 runs, which means I think he's equalled Andrik Nortje's figures here, hasn't he? Didn't Nortje get 4 for 7? If I remember
Sounds
rightly,
right,
against
yeah.
Sri Lanka. It's not. It's our friend Harmeet Singh, isn't it? And it's, yes.
It's
I was hoping it-
Perko reckons, Tony, that you're more of a thigh than a shoulder aficionado.
I only have thighs for you.
Oh yeah.
Right, where are we? Harmeet Singh, he's gone for 10 anyway. We should probably send him away with this one, I think.
Now you're gone.
And it's going to be Jasdeep. That's a very
Jasdeep.
cool
This guy also
name.
can bat a little. He has some pretensions
I
to
shall
batting.
see what we can find about him. Known as Jesse Singh.
Correct.
He is from Queens. He is actually a native New Yorker.
Yes.
With thanks to Odyssey from 1977. I'm a native New Yorker. Also a version of that done by Frankie Valli, if I remember rightly.
Brian Barish is very politely reminding you in capitals that it's Van Skalkwyk.
Van what? Skalkwyk?
Skalkwyk, yeah.
Skalkwyk.
Skalkwyk. Van Skalkwyk.
S-K-U-L-K.
Yeah.
Skulk.
You say
As in-
the CHS ska.
Well, Arshdeep
Skip
Singh's
off.
going to be bowling to the new man, who is Jesse Jasdeep, who defends and will get a single as well because he's pushed it towards mid-off. And our friend Van Skalvik will be on strike, which means I can tell you a bit about the lad. I can tell you a bit about the Mr. Van Skalvik. Now,
It's been a thin edge, I thought.
Shadley Claude Van Skalvik.
All right.
He's a product of the famous Weinberg Boys High School, whose alumni include Jacques Callis and Alan Lamb. There you go. Made his List A debut for Western Province in 2008. He's got 1 run at the moment. He's facing the deadly Arshdeep Singh, who he's going to get runs as well because he's bunted this, not particularly stylishly, but he's away and running as it was straight down towards a very fine mid-on. And he will get himself a single, and it does bring up the 100. So 100 for 7. You know, they may not be far off that average first inning score.
Yeah.
With these two now at the crease, 100 for 7.
1 ball.
107,
for
remember,
Arshdeep
that
to
is.
Get a 5 for maybe.
He took plenty of wickets very economically, did Shadley Claude.
We also hear
against
our
Canada
own,
and Bangladesh. And against
Richard
Canada he
Asher.
took none for 34, so he was a bit expensive. And
Guerrilla
that,
Cricket's own Richard Asher might also be an alumni from the same school be here.
in comes Arshdeep Singh. Flat batted away, but on the bounce.
Very nearly carried
It was
the cover
in
that
the air for a long time, but Jean-Claude Van Damme Van Skalvik has got away with it. Oh no, did he? No, it wasn't a wicket.
No,
was
no,
it?
it was
no.
not a
It
wicket.
very nearly was a fantastic
And
spell.
it was Jesse on.
4 for 9 by Arshdeep Singh off 4 overs. He has been almost impossible to hit today. 18 overs complete. 100 for 7 are the USA. 4 for 9 for Arshdeep Singh. Jasdeep on 1. I've already met Van Skalvik 2. And the run rate, well, we don't really
On
worry
the
about
chat,
run rates here.
Tony's.
About 5.5.
On the chat, Richard
Jake
Asher.
Grover.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Jay Grover says Tony doesn't know he's asked from his elbow. Damning new evidence.
Some truth in that.
Mayank says he's Uncle Sam in the house today, sweating bullets in this costume. And Brian says, "Don't worry, Tony. People here don't know much about the Seattle Orcas either." So
Well, that's good to know.
Aww.
I did go and see the Seattle Sounders play soccer once. I think they were playing the Vancouver Whitecaps from memory. Drove a long way to go and see it as well.
And he also said, "That's New Jersey Stallions captain Jesse Singh to you." By the way, somebody, I can't remember who now, I think it was Skier, pointed out we've only got 4 thumbs up on our YouTube feed. It's good to put thumbs up there. It helps us with the support for our channel.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if it has any impact on the
Happy with
long
those?
term, but we encourage you to put some thumbs up.
Well, we
so
missed a ball then. No, we didn't miss a ball, I have to say. We
No, no, it was
we were
straight
bang
into
on
third
point.
for
But
single. It goes okay.
anyway, second ball of this over, and is slower, beautifully disguised slower ball by Jasprit Bumrah. Foxed poor old Jasdeep, who had a forlorn swing at it without any real hope of connecting. And there is no run. Yeah, he's from Queens, New York. He's played for Guyana
York.
Amazon Warriors. MI New York, the ridiculous name, but there it is. And for
Well,
the
MINY, Miney.
and if I hadn't heard of the Seattle Orcas, I definitely hadn't heard of the Toronto Nationals, but he's played for them as well. As that one is full and aimed in at the base of his off stump, but Jasdeep digs it out and gets himself a single, and our friend Van Schelvik will be back on to strike. He was brought up was Jasdeep Singh, even though he was born in Queens and is a native New Yorker. He was brought up in the rural Punjab.
Can imagine. But I mean, Bumrah is coming back to his own. He had an off over, one really bad over. Now he seems to be back his miserly self.
Possibly the ball of the tournament by him was the one that got Barbara Azam LBW, as this one's steered away into the offside by our friend Van Schelvik, and
Barbara
he'll get
Azam
a single.
It was dismissed by Akshar Patel, but maybe I'm mistaken. No.
You are mistaken.
All right. That's a good match coming up. We are seeing that later tonight. It will be New Zealand versus West Indies.
What else do we know about Jesse? I'll tell you in a minute as he's on strike. We did have a nasty injury back in 2017. Tore his knee ligaments. Had to have a year out the game getting that fixed. In comes Jasprit Bumrah. Another
How did that miss that
magnificent slower ball. Jasdeep had a swing and it kissed the top of the off bail, I think, on its way through to Rishabh Pant.
May have cleared it
without disturbing it. Extraordinary. Somehow
that should have bowled him. All right, he lives on to fight another day.
He does indeed live on. He's noted for his exuberant celebrations when he takes wickets. I don't mean generally just when it's his birthday. Oh, that's an inside edge onto his thigh. He survives again. I don't think he knows how he's surviving out there. He's not exactly motoring the USA towards the average first innings score. They're 103 for 7 at the end of 19. A much better over from Jasprit Bumrah, who's been, by his standards, expensive.
First time in 7 matches that Bumrah hasn't taken a wicket.
Well, extraordinary. Number 25 off his 4. 2 for Jasdeep, 4 for Van Schelvik. And we can catch up with Henderson.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff coming through on YouTube, so I'm not getting to read all of it. But Michael Bedford says, we'll know when a real homegrown USA player comes on. He'll be called Kermit Jerky or such like.
Kermit Jerky? Kermit Jerky sounds like a type of barbecue food. Barbecue relish.
I dare say.
Just slap a bit of the old Kermit Jerky on your burger.
Wayne Wickham says hello to us all. Welcome. Kieran Roseblade says, wow, just tuning back in. USA with 4 for 2.
Siraj is going to bowl the last over. He's over the wicket. That's slanted across our friend Van Schelvik. And is kept very low. It's taken at ankle height by
Will they
Siraj.
cross that
Again, no run.
do you think, Tony? 5 balls left, 4 balls.
It's touch and go.
Right? Suddenly they've lost all the momentum, those players.
Well, there was a great example of that. I mean, that was a pretty heavy ball by Siraj. Oh, we're having a look. What does Virat think? I often ask myself that.
Yes.
When I'm doing my tax returns or something, I think, should I declare this or that? I often go, what does Virat think?
What would Virat say?
Do I turn left here or do I turn right? When I'm heading up the M1, I think, what does Virat think? Well,
correct.
If only I could carry a mini Virat with me everywhere. Oh, that's got by Van Schelvik. He's carved that.
All
right.
It's gone away through deep mid wicket. It's gone for 4. The camera immediately goes to what does Virat think, and what Virat thought was, how the fuck did that happen? Because he had a really face like a slapped arse. But there it goes. It's gone for 4 runs anyway. Wow.
4 on
on the floor. And one more fall than the four before. That's what fours are for.
And there it is.
Monkey on the
It's the
dance floor.
107 average first innings score. That's a clever, slower bouncer again from Siraj. Fooled Van Shalwick. This is one for the over. I don't think Siraj will be bothered by that. It's another.
I think my prediction of
dot ball.
110 is looking fairly good.
I think you're in very good order there. I don't think we've even mentioned the GPL today, Messrs. Has anyone entered? Probably not, because we've hardly encouraged them.
Probably not.
I count myself fully remiss on that by not mentioning it. It's too late now.
Yeah. New York's probably the best place to be doing it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's all very low. You're in with a chance. In comes Siraj. Van Shalwick's launched this high. It's going to drop safely just past square leg, and they're going to come back for 2, I think, which means they'll move on to 109, eclipsing, I tell you, the towering 107, which has been the average first inning score so far. And they've still got 2 balls left. 2 balls left, 3 wickets. They've just got to swing like a rusty gate from here. Come on, boys.
Some edges.
3 sixes, 18. Add 18 to that. It'll look a halfway decent score. You just never know. Be in the you just never know territory then, I think.
India
as
only
far
made
as India are
190,
concerned. Well,
maybe you
yeah.
can eclipse that, make it tough for India.
Well
They're
done.
chasing after all.
Well done, Van Shalwick. That's a good ball. Bunted back past Siraj, who dives, can't stop it. It's down to mid-off. They'll take another single, and it means we have just 1 ball left of this curious USA innings. I mean, remember, 18 for 2 after 6 overs. I mean, that was the power play score. We think the lowest. I might need to go back, and we'd have to probably have a look at what Sri Lanka scored when they got their 77, forming the template which Middlesex chose to follow last night.
If India are to win, they have to get the highest ever successful chase at this ground.
Well, it's not a huge body of evidence to build that particular stat on. However, is he supposed to be Hamilton, that chap with the funny wig and the weird... Oh, is he George Washington, maybe?
Washington, I think.
I reckon he's George Washington. Right. Siraj in. Swing, miss by Jasdeep. They're going to run anyway. I think he got home. I think they've got themselves... Well, Paul Rifle.
Body language, he doesn't look very convincing.
Paul Rifle, who's playing whatever it was, give us a clue, has done the signal of the show me the television, please. I thought they were comfortably home, and I think they'll have got a bye comfortably enough, and the score will have moved on to a massive 111. But the decision on that is, oh no, he's gone by a country mile.
Distance. I mean,
gone by a country mile.
That's what his body language sort of indicated. He was nowhere close.
Yeah, he was nowhere close. He didn't look like he ever thought he was going to be. He hardly put in a massive spurt at the end, did he? It means he's gone. It means that the USA will finish this interesting innings again on 110 for 8 off their 20. Jasdeep was the man who was run out. Our friend Jean-Claude Van Shalwick is the not out batsman, and he's done all right, I have to say.
You've called him everything but his own name, poor guy.
Well,
Shadley.
I'll give him one more go at what is his proper name there.
Yes, go for it.
I apologise for that. We are, of course, talking about Shadley Claude Van Shalwick.
Fair enough.
The man from 35-year-old from Cape Town in Western Province.
Brown Barry says the US surviving all 20 overs against India is basically the plot of Rocky 1. The underdog taking every bunch the champion has to offer and surviving. Yeah, I think that's a very good analogy, actually. But he also says if Tony doesn't start pronouncing Shadley's name right, I'm going to walk across the Atlantic and hit him with a damn herring. Van Skalkvik.
Hit him with a herring?
Yeah.
A herring?
Van Skalkvik, yeah.
Hit me with a herring.
A herring.
A heron or a herring?
A herring.
Oh, a herring, like the fish slapping dance in Monty Python, famously filmed in Teddington. Right, well, Brian Barish, I will meet you on that. The herring duel. Just bring it on, man. I'm ready for you.
He even threatens to walk across here sometime, Tony.
It's Shadley Claude Van Shalwick. There we go. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
It's Skalkvik.
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 Like the witches of Skalkvik.
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
Well, if you like.
If you like.
Right. Neil Harris also points out to you that a long drive in the United States has to be at least 6 hours before it qualifies.
Yeah, it's like going from here to Newcastle. I know exactly what you mean. Right, star of the batting performance. Well, Stephen Taylor did all right. Not in a hurry, I have to say. 24 off 30. 27 for Nitish Kumar before he became one of the 4 victims of Arshdeep Singh. 27 off 23. The rest was all bits and pieces, although our friend Shadley Van Skalvik, him.
Shadley will do.
Old Shadders.
Shadders.
11 off 10. Added a bit of impetus at the end with our friend Jesse Jasdeep. Pick of the bowling, well, absolutely the extraordinary Arshdeep Singh. 4 for 9 off his 4 overs. So a fantastic effort by him. Wicketless for Siraj of 25. Wicketless for Bumrah, also none for 25. Identical figures for those two. 2 for 14 for Hardik Pandya. A surprise over from Shivam Dubey. That went for 11. Thank you very much. Don't bother again, Shivam. And Axar Patel, 1 for 25 off 3 for him. I think you'd back India, of course you would. I just don't think it's necessarily going to be a walk in the park for them, do you?
No, it's going to be a very tough chase. If you ask me, they have to bat very correctly, responsibly. It's not that easy a pitch. They'll also have to build pretty much like what they did, or Pakistan showed us how it was done yesterday, for example.
Right.
I've got a feeling in my waters. I think India will actually do this for the loss of no more than 2 wickets in 15 overs. Got a feeling.
There you go. If you choose to believe Messi, thanks for your company, and we'll see you tomorrow. If, however, there is a merest scintilla of doubt in the wisdom of Messers there, then do not go away, because I've just got a sneaky feeling in my water it's going to be not as straightforward as India might think. Any more messages, Messers?
There's lots of discussion on YouTube.
Ajit.
But the Pokey Bum figure that said this was banana ball, but pink ball cricket with some tweaks could be a good night out.
Right.
Anyhow, there's lots of stuff there. But no, let's have a short break, and then we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Well, we'll do it. You've probably heard it a lot now, but until we record our next one, which is going to be very interesting actually, our next Bishop and Bear, I can tell you a little bit about that. It's about I can't remember the chap's name, but he's written a fantastic book about cricket in Ukraine and the impact of the war on it. So we're going to have a natter about that in our next Bishop and Bear. Don't miss that. Recording next week, I think, or maybe the week after. Anyway, this is our chat with Gargi Raut, the Bear and I.
Oh no, not again.
No, you don't want that one?
Start in the middle if you do, Tony, because I've heard the first part about 12 times.
All right,
now.
I've advanced it to a bit you may not have heard, and here it is.
Right.
Bowler. The league art of bowling, and particularly quick bowling. So I thought it'd be worth seeing what we think about some of his suggestions. He said things like, we need a wide guideline on the leg side for bowlers. So he's already saying that quicker bowlers should be allowed. The leg side wide shouldn't be completely, immediately a run to the other side, about half the distance from the stumps that the wide line is on the offside. So he's not asking for the same degree of leeway, but he's asking for some leeway so that, you've now, if you look at how much a batsman moves about, the crease is effectively rendered almost irrelevant by the amount of movement. What would we think about that? That would be potentially a massive step back in the armoury of bowling. Do we think that's a halfway
step forward? I would say.
At this point, yes, but but that would completely change cricket, wouldn't it? If you change something as foundational as that. But I get where he's coming from, because throughout this IPL, I've been talking to my colleagues, I've been talking to fans, and everyone seems to agree on the fact that it's completely become a batter's game. There's no incentive for bowlers, is there? You might as well put a bowling machine up there. Because
that's what I've been saying. Yeah, it's quite mad, isn't it? I don't see why anything down the leg side should be a wide. Literally, something that misses the pads by a couple of millimetres is given a wide. I don't think it's a bad ball, and I don't think it's unfair. They're trying to angle it in, and they get it slightly wrong, and the batsman's not got enough time to pick it up. I don't, again, you're putting it in the batsman's favour. If you've got to, the bowlers have to have something, right, to be able to.
He's also arguing.
I mean, because Jason Holder was basically saying you can't if you either bowl straight or you bowl wide. You've got nothing else. So if you're trying to bowl at the pads and you get it slightly wrong, it's a wide. But you're trying to restrict the batsman, then it's kind of unfair on the bowler. You don't have to get it wrong by, a couple of millimetres and suddenly you're widened, and therefore you can't do that again. And then therefore it allows you to actually bowl at the stumps, and then if you get the length wrong, you're out of the park. So I don't see why it should be. I've never really understood why it's so clinical on the leg side as to being wide.
Yeah, and when I think about, what's happening with the bowlers this IPL season, I think about, is there a kid, maybe several kids who are watching the IPL and thinking, why am I even a bowler? At this point, I should be getting better. What do I get? I break my back for what?
Yeah,
well,
true.
You're right. I mean, he was also, the other thing he was arguing for was the additional fielder for the last 4 overs, I think. An additional fielder out for the last 4 overs. So you have a 6 on the boundary from overs 17 to 20. Yeah, last 4, which would give the bowlers just a bit more cover before, as they're kind of getting blitzkrieged. But there were, you look at some of the bowling figures. Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, how many Jasprit Bumrahs are there? That's the point. I mean, he is a class. But I mean, I think his economy rate was 6, and he bowled best part of 7 balls between each boundary before.
But you also, I think, at this point, you also have to look at the fact that he's bowling to some players that are not international players. So.
True. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think the best in the power play were Sandeep Sharma, Bumrah, Bolt, Sandeep Sharma, and Natarajan. The worst in the power play were Naveen Al-Haq, Gerald Kirksey, Mitchell Stark. Mitchell Stark, until his missus came over. So there is your answer to a bowler's bad form.
Elsa Healy today.
Yeah, and Sandeep Waria. I'm not sure who that was. Best in the death overs, surprise, Bumrah, Siraj, Avish Khan and Harshit Rana. I mean, what a quality 4 they are. Worst in the death overs, Bhuvi Kumar, Moshin Khan, Sam Curran, which doesn't necessarily surprise England fans, let me tell you. He seems to have been in reverse since being player of the tournament at the last World Cup in Australia, I think. I don't know what you think. We blow a bit hot and cold about Sam Curran, don't we, Bear?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is it. I mean, he was another one who was the most expensive player, wasn't he, in the IPL last year because of his performance at the World Cup the previous year. I mean, he can be quite good. It'll be interesting to see if he gets picked for England, how well he plays in the West Indies. Different pitches again. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, the one thing, again, I go back to the IPL, maybe the pitches should have a little bit more in it for the bowlers. I mean, certainly the 2 qualifiers, the second qualifier I watched, the ball was starting to turn in that second innings, and it certainly slows things down. Why can't the pitch turn? Why should it be that the batsman doesn't get anything that turns off the straight and therefore can just launch it out of the park? Why not challenge the batsman, bring the scores back down and give something to the bowler? I mean, it seems insane to me.
Well, also batsmen are fitter, stronger. They work on
Yeah, but if the ball's turning, they have to bloody think, right? You can't just swing the bat, or charge down the wicket because the ball might do something. And especially with the quality of the spin bowling there, where you've got you've got your doozers and you've got your flippers and all this kind of stuff. If you've got that armoury and the wicket is doing something, it means you can challenge the batsman. If the pitch is doing nothing, it doesn't really matter what you exert on the ball, then the batsman's just going to swing through the line and hit you out of the park. And it becomes a different game.
Like they do horses.
You don't need to handicap them. All you need to do is make the pitch a little bit fairer. It may not swing and the ball may not go off the seam. I mean, it certainly swings at the beginning and there's a little bit of seam movement when the ball's hard, then the ball goes slower. The spinners should come into it. It's only a 20 over game, agreed. But if the pitches offer something to a spinner, it doesn't have to spin miles. It doesn't have to be, a rag top. It just needs to do enough that it makes the batsman think about something. And maybe that brings the score down and makes the game a fairer game.
Well, it's Keynesian economic.
And we are back. Welcome to the second innings of this game between the United States and India. India need 111 runs to win. That's just over 5.5 per over. In normal circumstances, we would turn around and say that this would be done pretty quickly, but this group has not been normal so far. I'm going to get Tony, our master jingler, to jingle up some batsmen and some bowlers. So, the state of the top of the Indian order is relatively well set.
Sacra, when I'm 264.
Hiya, Will. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm a bit torn about whether this is going to take 8 overs or 18 overs. I'm probably nothing in between.
I think it's going to go the distance. I don't know why. I feel like this pitch has given so much to bowlers, and the USA have been the surprise package, I guess, of the tournament so far. So, you know,
they have been. It's going to be pace to open up, Tony, if you want to jingle up the bowler. Opening ball in, goes across. He just glances that down to third man. Netravalka is our bowler. And that's going to bring the other Indian opener onto strike. I wonder who he is. If anything could be made of the career of Virat Kohli.
Yeah. He's a good kid. I've heard good things about him.
Yeah, do you think he'll make it?
I think he might go somewhere.
The pitches are prepared without a sign of grass. The score is mounting quickly.
Bowler in, and that's nips away. The keeper's gone. What was that? The United States celebrate like it's 76. Kohli, golden, duck, India 1 for 1, scenes.
Well, we received a message from Strassy Plays. As a brand new person to cricket, what should I be looking for, paying attention to in the next innings? Well, I responded to say wickets, early wickets for Canada are very important, and there we go.
Or even the USA.
Yeah.
He had the time of his life in the IPL, and he can't buy a run now that he's playing in Indian blue.
You silly little boy! What on earth were you?
Fuck off! Just fuck off! Just fuck off!
All right, DJ Tony.
Whoa.
Obviously, I'm going to guess that that's a definitive attempt at trying to blend jingles together, rather than just pressing too many buttons at once. It's going to bring this returning wicketkeeper to the crease.
Oh, it's all happening too quickly. Slow down. This fellow.
Netravalka is pretty good.
Yeah. Just, good length ball, slanting across Virat Kohli, and his genuine edge through to the wicketkeeper. Bob's your uncle. Makes you wonder why the whole of the Indian Premier League couldn't figure him out.
Maybe it won't go the distance, but the other way.
I think it's the wrong colour uniform.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of sad-looking people dressed in blue in the stands.
Yeah. I wonder how many people might leave irrespective of the result. So Netravalka's got to get his blood pressure and his pulse down to normal levels. As he comes in, left arm over, and that moves away from pants slightly in the air. What he can do is push it to cover for no run. So, 1 for 1.
Incredible.
Brown in Brisbane says, "My word, what will the cameras do now?"
Yeah, all of them will
Code.
turn off. Or there's going to be at least one that focuses on him in the dressing room. Oh dear. Happens, love. Happens as we look at this. Is this taking an inside edge?
Wow!
It
just came back a long way.
Jabbed back in a long way. Moved between the inside edge of the bat and the off stump. Keeper took it low down, reversing his movement. Good take behind the stumps, but this is a gnat's crotchet away from edge and stump. Oh, it's about. Will, do you think that went over off stump or just wide?
I mean, it looks sort of over, but different angles are going to give you different ideas. But
we'll settle for close. Pan just blocks this ball towards the covers, and just 5 balls gone, but absolute chaos reigning through this Indian innings. It's not been a difficult pitch. It's not been an easy pitch to bat on first, and it's just as difficult to bat on second.
And it's really entertaining.
It is.
It's such a nice antidote to the IPL, where it's kind of like 220 versus 220.
Well, most sports favour an even contest between the two sides. And we maybe have slightly more of an even contest with the conditions. This is flicked away towards long leg by Pant. Looked handsome as he played it. However, fielded there. That'll be a single. Pant will keep the strike. And at the end of that over, Jez 2 for 1. And I am assuming chaos reigns.
Well, it's Varong's sent us a series of 12 shots of Virat Kohli, asking us to pick which face to go. 1 ball equals golden duck, so there's a miserable face there for you. Over on YouTube, we have Pokey Bumfinger saying, "I'm always a bowling fan myself. India should close this slow total quickly, but if the USA bowl their hearts out, this game could be exciting. Oops, Kohli out, should type faster."
So,
and Sagia says, "I've been wanting to say this for a long time. Some really good looking people in the crowd that the camera operator focuses on every now and then."
We're going to have Muhammad Ali Khan, who's going to bowl from the north end, second over. We'll jingle him in a second. That's been cut away from a wide delivery by Pant with no footwork, but plenty of expert timing. And that'll run away for the first one of these.
And 2, and 3, and 4.
Just too wide there, Will.
Yep. This guy's got a hell of a lot of kind of raw pace and all of that sort of thing, but compared to the skill of the Indian batsman.
This one is on the legs, played really without conviction by Pant. It's gone to square leg, where there is a vacant space, so that'll be, well, it'll be 1 to the total. Whether it's a leg by or a run off the bat is yet to be determined.
I'll jingle the bowler in the meantime. Here he is.
And that nearly catches Rohit in front. A bit of low bounce there, maybe. But Rohit gets the bat in front of it. And by the time that gets to mid-on, they've taken another single. So that's 6 off the over so far. 1 leg by, 5 off the bat. But that seemed to keep a little low.
Yeah. It definitely is a pitch made for bowling, which is... I mean, it's exactly what I want to see. I want all batsmen to feel like shit all the time.
That sounds like a number 11 talking, Will. That is a mighty heave of a ball just outside the off stump. Mistimed. Goes straight, but straight to the edge of the circle, where a combination of Americans feel it will be a single.
How very dare you? I was at 10 once and got vertigo.
So, that famous Frost Report sketch. I know my. India are 9 for 1 after 10 deliveries. But the big fish may well be back in the hutch, as this is soundly defended by Rowett to a good length ball just outside off stump. Ollie Khan's getting up to 85 or so miles an hour, so certainly no slouch, Will.
Nope, that's pretty rapid, and but I think it's that weird thing with the USA team that people assume that they're going to be kind of random sort of club cricketers, and it's like no, half of them played for under 19s of other nations.
In but wide, able to be cut away by Rowett. Will they look for 2 and take on the arm of a wideish third man? No, they don't. 7 off the over, and at the end of 2, it's 10 for 1, Jez.
Emily Elizabeth has joined us. Hello, Emily. She says, hi all, and glad you've got here, Stratty Plays. Glad you got into cricket. And Pokey Bumfinger says, British cameramen like this. I always wonder if they want it in the footage or if they've got one pervert cameraman on the team. Well, at the end of the day, you've got to blame the director as to what shots they choose to show.
Yes.
And frankly, it's a bit
1980s
on the pale sometimes. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I think
South Africans are particularly bad at it.
We've gone past that time, I think. Or at least I hope we have.
It's ridiculous.
Netravalka will, after the success of his first over, get a second bite at the cherry. He's in, pushed across Rowett. Nothing more than a push towards cover. And there'll be no run.
I may have been sexist when I said it was up to the director to determine what he shows, but I suspect in these cases they are male directors, which is how the result comes through.
I reckon there are probably sort of 3 or 4 sports directors that just sort of have meetings once a month and swap all the pervy shots.
Oh God.
That has been chipped up in the air by Rowett, and will that be taken? Yes, it was!
Whoa!
What a catch! Mid-off, running back towards the boundary, has taken a catch over the shoulder, and Rowett is back in the hutch, as well as Virat Kohli, and India are 10 for 2.
Wow!
On your bike, mate. You flipping muppet.
Just a leading edge. He hasn't tried to hit the ball too hard, but he's looped up. And Singh has taken an absolute beauty of the catch.
That was stunning.
Wow, that's fantastic. This is really exciting. My prediction was clearly completely wrong. This is going to be tight, I suspect.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
I've
got to say, it's not like me to be barracking for the USA. In 90% of sports, I would not be barracking for the USA, but in a sport like this where they're just finding their feet, it's wonderful to see them doing so well.
So we're going to jingle up the new batsman too. Surya Kumar.
There he is.
Surya Kumar.
He faces his first delivery, just pushes that out, cover, and there'll be no run.
Now. Surya Kumar, you're down.
And Netravalka's got figures of 2 for 2 and may have just earned himself an IPL contract next year.
Well, it was him who put Pakistan on their uppers in that match too. So yeah, he's had a huge impact.
He's really taken the game to India, and
This one jags back off a length, tries to cut Surya in half, hits him on the chest, and he'll just take a moment, or hits him on the hand maybe. He'll just take a minute to reassess his life choices. But that's beautiful shape.
Yeah, it did lift a fair bit.
Lifted off a good length, and has hit him on the underside of the fingers, it seemed like.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah, there's no padding there. So we'll just have a minute
while they find all his bones.
Yeah, just make sure, Can you...
Well, Sagir says that's a great catch, especially running backwards. USA really taking the fight to the Indians here. Even though I'm an India fan, I'm loving this. And he says, for the ones not in the know, Netravalka is a terrific bowler, played for India under-19s in the World Cup too, where he was the leading wicket taker. Before uni studies and work took priority, and he buggered off to the US. So that was partly because he couldn't get into the Mumbai team because there was such competition. Mumbai team is very, very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good to see him performing. You may be right about it. An IPL contract. It's ironic, isn't it? If the India rejected him, then he's coming back because he's so good against them.
Do you reckon they might not give him an IPL contract just to spite him because of this?
Well, the thing is that what you need is, you're always on the hunt for talent. Yeah. And there is going to be nothing as ruthless as franchise owners. Sentimentality goes completely out the window.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And he's still really young and really raw, and like some time in an IPL franchise. Oh my God, can you imagine what he's going to be like next?
Well, no, he's not really young. He's 32. It was 2010 under-19 World Cup where he did really well. So he's been around for a long time.
It's not the other guy there's a 21-year-old in their bowling lineup that was also.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm getting muddled then.
See them later on. So Surya Kumar looks like he's been taped up, and that there's going to be the ball's in the hand of the bowler. So I'm assuming that we're about to resume play. But that was a nasty one to get on the fingers. Because there's a long-term decision to be made. I mean, there are two of the eminent world-class T20 batsmen at the crease for India.
Yes. Jay Grover says, nothing illustrates Modi's success better than the fact that I am barracking for the US against India, a country I've lived in and loved, for fuck's sake. And the Jersey Dinkler says, come on USA, if us Yanks win this, I wonder how many of my Indian friends will be no-shows at training tonight.
Well,
is that because you're going to rub it in their faces, Richard?
For the neutral always slants towards the underdog.
Yes.
So we're going to resume. Netravalka is going to come back in. And that is wide outside the off stump, and that is played away by Surya Kumar. But third man is one of the two deep fielders. And so that'll just be a single. The other deep fielder is at deep square leg. So one ball.
I've got to
left
say
go.
that United States fielding throughout this tournament has been superb.
That in a way doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of see the ball, hit the ball stuff that goes on over there. So one ball left of the third over. 11 for 2, chasing 111. But if anyone saw this in the script, they're a better person than I am. That is just played down to third man again by Richard Pan. So he'll keep the strike. He's on 7, but the total is 12 for 2. Jez.
Sagir, with Rohit, Sky and Hardik part of the Mumbai Indians, they could perhaps get the Ambanis to get him into the Mumbai Indians or Mumbai Indians New York, their sister franchise. He's currently with Washington Freedom. That's a silly name.
Have you heard of the San Francisco Unicorn?
Yes, most franchise names are silly, I have to admit.
Yep.
The irony in the United States, of course, is that although they have a city name attached to them, they all play all the games in one location, so it's a little strange in that regard.
We are going to see a change in the bowling. It's going to be Jasdeep Singh who's going to bowl the 4th over. He's going to come herring in, right arm over. And that's going to be down to deep backward square leg from Richard Pan. It's going to be just a single.
I want a bat like Jasdeep Singh. I want a ball like him. Jasdeep Singh, often called Jesse Singh. Jesse Singh. Jasdeep Singh.
He's been good enough to wait for his jingle to finish before resuming bowling. Surya Kumar 1 from 3 deliveries, but had his fingers and knuckles wrapped. This one there was on his legs, and he'll play that out to deep square leg, where there'll be a single. Singh getting up to 81 or so miles an hour, which is fast medium, but certainly too quick for me.
Yeah, that's one of the things about this pitch. It doesn't require express pace to be effective, does it?
No. With this sort of unpredictable bounce, as this one is, again, dabbed down towards third man by Pan. They're certainly not trying to take too many chances at 15 for 2. Midway through the 4th over. So, Will, what was your bowling like? How did you terrify the opposition?
Pace really. When I was young and fit, I think the sort of fastest I got clocked was about 82.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I got sort of quite a lot of late swing, I guess, depending on the wicket and what ball I was using. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird one because in terms of club cricket, I'd say I was all right.
Singing, good ball just outside the off stump, defended under his eyes by Surya Kumar.
Such English modesty, Will. You were quick for club cricket at 82.
Yeah, but then what I was going to say is for disability cricket, which is what I was playing most of, I was shit hot. And really, really quick. Like when I was...
This one is taken off the length of, the line of off stump down to deep square leg for a single by Surya Kumar. So 4 singles off this over so far. Will, what are you saying, sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, and that got me into the England side I was 16 or something, so...
Yeah.
And then had a kind of nice time at Somerset and kind of a couple of championships there, and then I went off to uni and joined Warwickshire.
Last ball of the over, defended back to the bowler. Will, we're going to ask you more questions in the next over. But for now, we're going to go to Jez because at the end of 4, it's 16-2.
I can tell you that at the end of 4 overs, the USA were also 16 for 2. O'Neill Harris says, I can see Will doing an impression of Ryan Sidebottom.
Oh, very much yes.
And Ruben Longanathan says, at least now everyone will agree that India will not win this tournament and they will be thrashed by Australia in the Super 8 stage. I don't think that's a conclusion you can make without having seen Australia bat on a pitch like this, to be honest. I think we've got to wait and see what happens in the West Indies. Really do.
Nick Travolta is going to bowl his 3rd over. It's going to be the last over that we have together as a trio. That's just defended to mid-off for a single. We're going to have an old switcheroo. Let's see who's on next.
You're still on, Al. You're on socials.
Yeah,
Richard
Tony's coming up.
Summarising Tony's on ball by ball.
Yeah. A safer pair of hands we could not find. No, literally, we couldn't find a safer pair of hands. So. Netravalka's coming around the wicket. This has been sort of a scoop pull by Surya Kumar, and that's gone all the way. Fine leg, 6 runs.
That was a bizarre but rather entertaining shot. Don't know what it was.
A wristy
the wrists. Yeah, I mean, so many shots like that have been tried and fallen short in this tournament, but he got his timing just perfect.
That did seem to be the case.
That's an ominous sign for the US if he's going to be able to time things like that.
Yeah. 22 for 2 now. This one pushed across Surya Kumar. He sees that one coming. Pushes it out into the covers. It won't hit the sponge. It will be a comfortable 2.
Still encouraging signs though for the US, I think. Considering sort of normally at this point, on any other pitch, India would be like 60, but not a lot. And, you know, so yeah, I don't know. I'm still hopeful.
It's a contest.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's all, unless you're a true Indian fan, as this is just defended to cover. You know, if you're a neutral, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah. It's been.
Brian Barish corrects me. The MLC's in 2 locations, Texas and North Carolina. They tried to get into the New York Stadium this year, but it was too rich for them. And the San Francisco Unicorns is the best name of the lot. It refers to the tech industry in Northern California.
Netravalka in and is pushed down towards 3rd man. Content for the occasional attacking shot, but most of this has been singles and pushes. Surya Kumar's now on 12 off 11. And 9. He'll face his first ball in a while.
What, because the tech industry doesn't exist, or?
It's what it's known as is the unicorn industry.
Yeah.
Because they create fantasies out of nothing.
Yeah.
Last ball of this 5th over. And that is played late by Rishad Pant, but only as far as point. There'll be no run. And at the end of 5 overs, scores 25 for 2.
So, Al, the next tweet is from Jay Grover about Liam Plunkett. And you can take your pick on the other side on YouTube.
Okay,
I'll catch you in 5 overs.
And if we had a pound for every time we heard those words, the next tweet is from Jay Grover, I think we could all retire. Those of us who haven't already retired. Well, we did say this wasn't going to be straightforward. Well, Messi Jez said it would be. But 5 overs gone, 25 for 2. Well, they are at least some way ahead of the USA power play. 18 for 2, remember that was. And that's full and onto the off stump and just dabbed down into the offside by Sirakumar Yadav.
I haven't by any means watched all the games from this ground, but all the ones that I have watched, 25 for 2 seems actually better than par for
Riches, it's almost Riches. Riches, we're not at the end of the power play. Well, we know 107 is the average first innings score. That won't have changed much based on 110 scored by the USA today.
No ball.
And a no ball. Oh my goodness. Jesse Jasdeep. Now, does that mean a free hit?
Yeah.
Oh, can't afford those, lad. It's only just a no ball as well, but a no ball's a no ball. And it is going to be a free hit, which Sirakumar, you really wouldn't want to be giving free hits to either of these two, it must be said, but Sirakumar, who will have the choice of it. There is a third man and a long leg. It's served up wide of the off stump. It's not really got hold of by Sirakumar. He's looking to drive through extra cover, really just drives to wideish mid off and gets a single and will bring Rishabh Pant on to strike. And the score is 27 for 2.
Is there a law of cricket that free hits have to be a monumental anticlimax?
Well, they not always, but that more of them have been when they've happened in this tournament. But I think, particularly in the USA, and particularly at this ground, which of course is this, curiously entertaining wicket, which has been sticky and occasional and unpredictable, but that's helped in a way the entertainment. That's a beautiful ball by Jasdeep Singh, and it's wide of off stump, goes straight through to Andre Gauss after a bit of a waft by Rishabh Pant.
He seemed very late on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a bit late on that. It's nicely taken by Gauss, who's in today because, of course, the US captain is Monak Patel. He's injured with a dicky shoulder. They hope he's back for the Super 8s, which is presumptive. It makes the assumption they will get there, but they're looking in good order at the moment. That's pulled by Pant. That's a bit of a signature shot, and it just clears deep backward square. It hits the sponge on the full, and I'm pretty sure that will be 6 of the best. Dare I jingle that? Did we all see the same thing? Help me out, guys.
I saw it go over.
Great. Well, then we'll give it this then.
Oh, I say! You're getting there.
Certainly was. Don't need to see
than I
that
thought,
twice.
to be fair. It would be interesting to see how much distance deep backward square had to make up to get to the ball. But to clear that and to clear the fielder,
hang on a second.
Some considerable distance in.
We're going to wait for Jasdeep Singh, who's going to be in 2. Rishabh Pant, who drives straight to mid off, and there is no run. Yeah, please, and then just mix up the thing. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Ordering another coffee, are you?
No, Steve, who came to my 65th birthday party, seeing as I've known him for the best part of 50 years, I think, or about 40 odd years, he left his glasses there. I've 3 times brought them to the studio, 3 times forgotten to leave them here. And he happens to live, curiously, just round the corner from the studio, or near enough anyway.
And
so there we go.
Got his specs.
Yeah, so he's finally got his spectacles back. Testicles, spectacles, wallet and watch. Only there with the spectacles in this instance. Right, what happened there? Dot ball. Dot ball. As I went off into some sort of weird tangent. Jasdeep Singh, number 12.
A nuns on the run tangent.
A nuns? Was that where that came from?
Yeah.
Oh, well, your memory's better than me. I thought it was Austin Powers.
I remember Robbie Coltrane doing that just as a nun.
Ah, I thought it was also Austin Powers, so it could have been used twice. It's not by no means unique. 33 for 2, India. Remember, they lost Virat Kohli off his very first ball. Goodness me. What a shocker of a tournament he's having, actually, but he's obviously not getting on that well at New York. This is just dabbed down towards short cover, and there is no run. It's the end of that Jasdeep Singh over. Number 12 for him went for 8 runs. 6 of them, a beautiful pull by Rishabh Pant, hit the sponge on the full, and it's 33 for 2.
Jay Grover says the fact that Liam Plunkett identifies as a unicorn makes me very happy. And also he says that he thought he'd been pretty sotto voce this series. Let's have a look at what's been going on.
Jay was saying that of himself.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli's been pretty sotto voce. Maybe he's just saving himself for the Super 8s. Genuinely, he may just be struggling. Oh no, it's our friend who's going to bowl oh God, Brian's going to be
but don't worry, help us at hand.
with his herrings of death. He's going to be after me.
I even wrote you on the chat.
Did you?
Yeah. What do you call it?
Van Skalkvik.
Perfect.
Oh, what a beauty! You've done it phonetically as Van Skalkvik.
That's the word I was looking for. Phonetically.
Shadley. Van Skalkvik is going to be bowling.
Tony, you say it like a true South African. I'll let you be Bry Master next week.
Go and pock the blue car. It's absolutely Van Skalkvik who's going to bowl. Over the wicket he comes. Full and met and driven, half driven, really well. No, it's not a drive at all. It's really just a nudge towards Corey Anderson, who's at short cover. And there is no run.
And for some context, at this stage, at the end of the power play, 18 for 2 were the USA. So
they were indeed.
Nearly double that. I mean, it genuinely is, but for the standards of this ground of late, a very decent score after 6 overs.
Yep, 33 for 2 is a huge, towering score. In comes Van Skalkvik, and that's pushed towards short mid-wicket. Anderson fields, but they'll get a single, and a score will move on to a massive 34.
It constitutes a solid foundation, as we were just discussing.
Shadley Claude, Van Skalkvik. That's our man.
You're just going to repeat it over and over.
I am until
I can sense the joy.
Until it's like vocal muscle memory that I can just keep saying.
They don't get much tougher, actually, South African names than that one.
Went to the same school that produced Jacques Callis and Alan Lamb.
And Richard Asher.
Really? You went to Weinberg Boys?
Weinberg Boys.
Weinberg Boys. Oh Lord! Right, yes. That's pulled by Pant, but all the way along the ground past square leg and strolls a single.
I recognise some of those names. Jack Howitz?
yeah, Alan Lamb, yes.
Recognise that, Asnaberg.
And of course, the great...
Narrowly nudged me out of the under 9 A team.
Narrowly.
No, I'm kidding. He was 7 yees ahead, and when I was a boy, I think Van Skalkvik was merely a glint in someone's eye.
Van Skalkvik, who is in over the wicket, and it's defended away into the offside by Surakumar Yadav.
I love the way you're letting it just like ruminate around. You know, you're rolling it around your mouth like you would do a fine wine.
Absolutely. Well, he comes from a country that produces some very fine wines, does Van Skalkvik.
Scoring some points back, Tony.
Shadders. I might just call him Shadders. Keeps it simple.
There you go.
35 for 2. 2 balls left. It's a good ball. Not quick. Kept fairly low towards the middle stump of Surakumar, but he just pushed into the onside. There's no run. So I guess run rate wise, they're kind of ahead of the game, I would expect. If you want it sort of mathematically from that perspective. They're going at 5. They need to go at 5.7. They're going at 5.1. So actually, they're just behind it. They're just behind it, and they've had the batting power play to get there. But remember, they've almost doubled the score that was achieved in the power play by South Africa. No, nearly. Well, it could almost
USA.
be part South Africa. USA. That's right. Yes.
You also got to think they should bat deeper than most other teams that have got themselves into.
It's the last ball, unless he bowls a no ball for Van Skalkvik, and that's worked nicely off his hip down towards long leg, and he will keep the strike. Will Surakumar? He'll move on to 15. His partner Rishabh Pant is on 16. They've both faced 18 balls, and with a target at 111, India after 7 are 36 for 2. Owl hotch fake.
Thank you, Tony. So we've got a couple of couple of people who were talking about what other names for franchises: the San Francisco Acid Casualties, Portland Hipsters, Phoenix Fentanyls, Providence Weirdos, Innsmouth Dish Copper. That means fish head. Says Linux. Emily Elizabeth says that's cool. I like baseball too, and that helped me a bit. Sagir's gone to bed. Good night.
Well, Ali Khan hasn't gone to bed because he's going to be bowling the next over. His first over, I think, went for was it 7? His first over went for.
So.
Both wickets, of course, went to our friend Netravolka. That's taken an edge. There's no slip. It's going to roll down to Netravolka, in fact, who's at third man. But had there been a slip, Richard, it would have been straight down his throat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he made the show that one reared up on a little bit, and I'm just asking myself if this pitch is behaving as well as it did at the beginning of the match.
Well, if you're of a USA persuasion, you'd be rather hoping perhaps it isn't. What proportion of the crowd do we think, which is a very healthy crowd, I would imagine it's full for India versus the hosts. It's certainly a spectacular sight. Beautiful fluffy clouds, blue sky. Those big tall stands are full of blue Indian shirts, but there must be some decent local support. This is pulled by Rishabh Pant. He doesn't get hold of it. It bumbles its way towards mid-wicket.
I think
they'll have time to come back
get
for
away
2.
With that one.
Yeah,
it was right in the wheelhouse there for Pant. He is a man that can swivel through it.
A lot of very excitable crowds. There definitely seems to be more of an Indian leaning to the crowd.
Judging by the amount of blue, yes.
Judging by the amount of blue.
Not American.
Indeed. Ali Khan around the wicket. He's bowled him. He has cleaned up Rishabh Pant. He came around the wicket to the left-handed Pant. It jagged back in. It didn't get up, to be fair. And Rishabh Pant was rooted as he just jabbed the bat down, missed it completely. His leg stump, I think, went back. But just when they needed it, just when you feared that this experienced pair were going to get away, Rishabh Pant has been bowled by Ali Khan. He is gone for 18. And this game is
not got up at all.
Didn't get up, kept very low.
We've actually had a couple in this over, haven't we? Misbehave.
Well, he's gone.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
Rishabh Pant gone for 18 off 20 balls. I mean, just think how many times have we seen Rishabh Pant, go strike rates of best part of 200 and absolutely smash big scores in literally no time at all. Hardly ever do we see him score his runs at under a run a ball, but that's how tricky it is here.
It has a double value as well, doesn't it? Not only is it the wicket, but it puts that uncertainty into the batsman to come that they also will get the one that doesn't get them.
Yeah, I must say, I don't know if there's anything in the idea that this pitch is acting up more as the day goes on, but I must say I did look twice when I saw that India had chosen to field first.
That kept low. Shivam Dubey is the new man in, or Shivam Dubey, or Dub E. I'm sure someone will tell me. Where is he? Shivam Dubey. Here he is.
But I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is. So the wicket taker, Mohammad Hashan Ali Khan, is in. That is right on off stump. Dubey doesn't really show too much footwork and just gets the bat in the way to steer it out towards point. Been part of most of the Knight Riders franchises has Ali Khan. He's born in the Punjab. He's born in Attock in the Punjab.
Yeah, that has nearly gone.
He's played for the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, the Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders, the Kolkata Knight Riders, the LA Knight Riders. You could say he's definitely part of that Knight Rider family. He's played around the world, including in India for them. Round the wicket he comes, past the outside edge again. Dubey was utterly rooted. He didn't move his feet at all. And how close, Richard, was that to an outside edge?
Oh, he's
Crikey.
actually bowling a great over here, I must say. Also, that very first ball he bowled to the new batsman was a scary one to get first up. I mean, get something in the way of that, or it would have smashed the timber over. And then this follow-up, even better.
Tell you what, on his CPL debut, he managed to get rid of Kumar Sangakkara with his very first ball in the CPL. That's not a bad scalp first up in a tournament, in a competition, is it?
Brilliant.
Round the wicket comes Ali Khan. He flings this very slingy action. Looked to noticeably put a lot more into that, and curiously, as he put more into it, it seemed to skid more rather than bounce more. What a great over for him, though. He's now 1 for 10. That went for just 3 runs. It included, importantly, the wicket of Rishabh Pant, the dangerous Rishabh Pant. Dubé's been scratching and pushing and unsuccessfully, and it's 39 for 3 after 8, chasing 111. Al,
you've been sent a gift.
Have I,
Tony?
Oh,
Brian Barish. If you look,
has he sent me a herring to smack me with?
He sent you a certificate.
Oh Lord, what for pronunciation?
For excellence in pronunciation.
I think, to be fair, he should be sending a duplicate of that certificate somewhere towards Richard, who's phonetic fun skulk vake.
One gets
that
one
I have
gets
in front of me
mentoring
helps.
and teaching from all places.
Well, this is true. This is true. Right, this one is defended by Surakumar into the offside. Oh, it is Surakumar, you know. And there is no run.
He's still there while everyone else has been getting out.
Well, yes, they have, including folks, Virat Kohli, first ball, edged and taken. Not much footwork involved, from as I recall, from Virat.
So who's bowling this over, Tony?
Well, I'll tell you in just a moment, as he's in and it's defended again. On just 3.5 stump line. I don't think it would have hit the stumps, but it was nicely defended once more. Didn't get up too much. That will be our friend Fun Skulkvake,
His name Shadley.
We'll give him his full name for you, because I realise you want it. It's Shadley Claude Fun Skulkvake.
I was just making sure that it had gone from short-term memory into long-term memory there, Tony.
No, well, no, not much does these days.
And Al will be along to wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, promises, goodness me, as in comes our friend Shadders. And that's driven. They're going to take a quick single. It was a very sort of gentle drive. It was really just a nudge out towards
you've got to get something out of those. I mean, if it's not hitting the stumps,
you do. And on this wicket, that's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yes, you get the raw score. You get the raw score when somebody's out. I don't suppose the raw is that huge if Rishabh Pant's out and yet it's a mainly Indian crowd.
But
there should be a gasp, a groan score. Yes. The groan decibel.
Meter.
40 anyway. 40 for 3. They're still behind that run rate. I mean, they've got such horsepower. We know that, but one more wicket, maybe 2. The classic add 2 wickets to the store. The fact is, this is hard going for India, and they're bowling out their skins, are the USA team, and this one's going to be a dot ball pushed towards cover by Dubé.
Just a reminder to those listening who may not have the scorecard in front of them. Batsmen to come: Pandya, Jadeja, then Akshar Patel, Arshdeep Singh, and then it's Bumrah and Siraj. So where do we think the tail starts?
Arshdeep Singh can bowl. Akshar Patel, of course, was batting as a pinch hitter the other night. I don't think with any great success, but he's certainly capable.
But they need to run a ball now.
This one again is a good ball on the top of the off stump of Dubé, who just guides it to backward point. There is no run.
How's Arshdeep's batting?
Let's have a look at this from a run rate perspective. Well, the run rate, I can tell you that they're going at is currently at 4.5. They need to be going at 6.5, which means that the USA are really keeping the lid on this India reply. It needs one of these two to seize the ball by the horns, really. Surakumar can certainly do it. Dubé seems to be struggling. He's got his first run rather tentatively, pushed away into the onside. They weren't too sure and then decided to take it. It means that after that Shadow's over, or Fun Skulkvik as we like to call him, it's the end of that over, and the USA are bumbling along somewhat tentatively at 110 for 8. Al.
Farong says...
Sorry, 41 for 3. What am I saying? 110 for 8 is what they're chasing.
Farong says, as this is the final match on this pitch/square, are the ICC going to sell off portions of the pitch as a memorabilia item? Could be on for an earner here, Rodders.
I think there'd be garden centres everywhere and be quite keen to grow more vegetables in it. Whether you'd be playing cricket on it, I don't know. Oh, we've got a change of bowling. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's going to be our friend Siltrano is going to be in. Here he is. Slapped from outside of off stump by Dubé. Gets a bit of an edge down to third man. Just 1 to the score. He moves on to 2.
Is this the Corey Anderson?
It is absolutely the Corey Anderson. Very much so. He's
holder of one of the fastest isn't it ODI hundreds?
I believe so. I believe so.
Does that still stand, or has it? I think
no, I don't think
he did once, but yeah, he once was. I'll tell you in a minute if you give me just a moment. And he barrels around the wicket to the right-hander, who lofts this, stopped very acrobatically at extra cover. They'll get a single. For just one moment, Richard, I thought he hadn't got on top of that enough. And he got 2 in the end, in actual fact.
Which is a good result. Sorry, I was distracted by your excellent description of him barreling. He is quite a barrely bowler, isn't he?
He is a barrely bowler. These are New Year's Day 2014, and he set the world record for the fastest ODI 100 with a 36-ball blitzkrieg against the West Indies in Queenstown. There you go.
The problem with that is your year is going downhill if you start it like that.
Well, that is possibly true. There's only one way to go, maybe after that.
I would happily take it.
He was the youngest New Zealand player to gain a contract. When he was 16, he was awarded a deal that Chris Harris apparently declined.
He is, though, turning slowly into Ian Austin of Lancashire fame.
He is, rather. Took 1 for 29 against Canada, none for 6 against Pakistan. He's got none for 3 here. Going to be none for 4, or possibly 5 now. No, none for 4. That's just been worked out to mid-wicket by Sirakumar Yadav. He moved to the USA in 2021 to participate in the Major League Cricket competition. He's played 38 T20Is. He averages 26 with the bat, highest score 94. For New Zealand against Bangladesh at Mount Maunganui in 2017. His best bowling was 2 for 17 versus Pakistan at Wellington in 2016.
Pakistan. You are sounding very posh, Mr. Bishop.
Pakistan.
Doesn't he give off the impression that he might be the fifth bowler that you can...
It's my Tony Gregg. Pakistan. Dubé's facing the Corey Anderson, whose sort of potted life history we just gave you, and that swings away and is fielded, but he's at round about his ankles by Gauss, who's wicket keeping today in the absence of the normal wicket keeping captain.
Was that a wide?
Yep. Looks
Mayank
like
Patel. Was that given as a wide? Yes, it was. Oh, can't afford to be giving those away. One of these.
So umpires spread your wings.
Anderson in. That's a better ball now. I don't think that was wide. He's still probably on 4th or 5th stump line, trying to frustrate Shevan Dubé, who would want to be getting on top of those and slapping them away through cover. He's not able to. It's 46 for 3. We're nearly 10 overs in. Double the score and add a bit. You'd still back India here.
I think Anderson's the one where the runs are going. Anderson's the bowler where the runs are going to come from.
Well, you heard it from Al. And there is going to be one of them there. Hardly a tsunami, but it is another single just dabbed down to backward point. Oh, and there's one extra for the over, isn't there, of course, because of the wide. So it's 47 for 3. Sirakumar is positive riches for him, 20 off 24. Again, we've been so conditioned when we're watching the IPL to 20 off 3. Actually, that would be impossible near enough, wouldn't it, without a bit of luck? 20 off 5. But here it's 20 off 24. Having to work. Every run is, you have to work for it on this pitch. That's defended. No. Shivam Dubé was scampering towards Sirakumo, who very quickly said no, too risky. 6 off the over, 6 off the first over from our friend Siltrano. And
I'm changing to the ball by ball chair.
Was that it? Am I done?
You are.
I am. Where did that go?
Got my new chair.
Are you off, Al? No, you're
Yeah,
on
I am.
later, mate. Aren't you? No, you're not.
Nope.
Yes, you are. I've got you down. Okay, I'll have to be messers then.
No, you don't.
It's Richard, me, and Will,
It is.
and then it's Tony, and Richard. But I'm going to be Tony.
No, I know. I've got the
Okay.
latest one. I said was either you or Al,
And
and
said,
apparently
Jez
it's
said
not
okay
Al,
first.
so it will be you, messers. Doing a
See
double
you
stick.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Cheers, Al.
See you, Al. Thanks, mate.
So long, so long. Nice to meet you, Will.
Hiya.
Neil Harris says to Sagir, says, I thought you were going to sleep, man. Are you hooked on Guerrilla Radio? And Stephen Kelk says Sagir Parker is asleep, but he has the feed wired into his sleeping brain.
And who
I
wouldn't be
sometimes
hooked
feel
on
like
Guerrilla
that.
Radio?
Yeah, well, my commentary stints go from about 10:30 p.m. until 2 a.m. and then from 8:30 a.m. until midday. So I get about 4 hours sleep between those two, and then have to have another sleep in the afternoon to get ready for this one. It's weird, but it works.
such is life in Perth. But you used the word barracking earlier, Messers, and am I right in thinking that's more of a Melbourne word?
It's very much an Australian word, barracking.
Australia-wide. Okay. Got
Yeah,
that right.
yeah. As is being rooted, I noticed Tony referred to whoever it was being rooted to the crease, and I thought, well, there's an interesting one. And I was then thought, well, the England team provides verbs for people because you can be rooted and you can be stoked. I'm just wondering if you can be anything else that's in the England team. I mean, you used to be able to be belled, I suppose.
I'm sure those county scorecards could provide hours of fun if one were so inclined from any given season.
Dear.
I suppose technically you could be archered.
Yeah,
that
that's a bit.
That
bit
was
of a
kind
stretch.
of
You could be heavily wooded.
back in about 1300. That was actually a verb. I think.
To archer. Ah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, you could be brooked, I suppose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be bear-stowed, though.
Oh, God, no.
That's be very hot and uncomfortable, I should imagine.
You'd explode. Oh dear. Well, I think this is remarkable. India are just 5 runs ahead of where the USA were after 10 overs, although they did have 2 overs remaining from both Bumrah and Siraj to come, which are a mighty weapon for the last 4 or 5 overs.
So we are ready to get going again, and it's Jasdeep bowling, and the left-hander Dubé has found some room out in the offside. He's going to get 2 to start the over.
And Will, Dara Azizi wants to know who was the best batsman you bowled at.
I mean, Viv Richards.
You bowled at Viv Richards.
That'll
Yeah.
do.
Well, okay.
In a charity
yeah,
game.
That's hard to beat.
This one's blocked by Dubé. By Dubé.
Do we want to know how he went or not?
Okay. He was incredibly lovely. One of the nicest people I've ever met. Also gave me some of the best advice I've ever got in my life. And
retire.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And my first over, he knocked me back over my head.
Another
5
dot ball,
times.
carry on.
And then let me bowl him. Last ball.
Lovely. And we allowed to ask what was the advice?
So
Seriously.
he basically put his arm around me and went, "We're both doing this for our communities, and you've got, like, you have to use it to, make life better for other people."
Ooh, there's almost a mix-up here. Jasdeep carves it out into the offside, and there's far too many fielders far too close to that ball to think about one. Nonetheless, Dubé did think about one, but scampered back just in time. It was a dot ball in the end. Yeah, that sounds like good general life advice.
It was just sort of
I was
like...
wondering if it'd be something technical.
Oh God, no. Like, I think but it was also that thing of, I was 17 and kind of, it slightly blew my mind because it's Viv Richards, isn't it?
It would.
This is a pretty poor ball down the leg side. Dubé follows it and is only able to pick out the short mid-wicket fielder. So there's just been the 2 runs off the first ball of this over, and we are now staring down the barrel of the last ball of the over. A good one thus from Jasdeep and for America. It's 49 for 3. Batsman just having a little chat ahead of this final ball. Everyone's back in position now. There's a sense of expectation over things. Over in New York, as Jasdeep comes around the wicket now. And there's it's just a mess all around. The batsman just flails his wrists at it. The wicketkeeper misses it. It goes for 4 behind the wicketkeeper. Was there an edge?
It's going down as 4 runs, yes.
Initially gone down as 4 runs. So 53 for 3 in 11. I think there's some real expectation hanging over this ground. There was an edge, but it didn't get anywhere near the keeper, who got caught in 2 minds as to whether to try and catch it or whether to try and stop it. In the end, he did neither. Hence the 4. So from a scorecard perspective, a good end to the over for India. Went for 8. So 53 for 3. Any time for socials?
Sagir response says, "I don't like cricket. I love it." And Dara says, "At least you hit the stumps, Will."
Yeah. It was great.
Did
honestly,
he actually let you bowl him? Do you think?
Oh, 100%, definitely, yeah. Because, yeah, like...
Anderson targeting the stumps this time is driven down the ground for a straightforward single.
If he didn't, then I'd be worried.
And also very proud.
Yeah. But I've had to spend the sort of 14 years since then telling myself that he definitely let you bowl him, because if not, my head would have expanded to the size of the moon.
Here's Anderson once again. It's outside, quite a long way outside off stump. It doesn't stop him having a quick query with the umpire as it catches pad and possibly some bat as well. Nothing much emerges from that ball. It's a dot.
I tell you what, though, they're showing a sort of panicky approach to running, which is indicative of some pressure in terms of the scoring rate, because they really are failing to find the boundary at all at the moment. They need a couple of boundaries to just take some of that pressure off.
Anderson's in again. It's outside off. Dubé uses the wrists to scoop it down towards long on along the ground. He'll get 1. We're not there. We can't hear the sound, and nonetheless, I'm sensing a bit of nerves. If that doesn't sound too hey chihuahua, but they are just shy of halfway to the target, and they are 11.3 overs into the chase. At some point, someone's going to have to take a bit of a risk here, and as we know, it doesn't get any easier.
The run out is currently playing 12-1 as the next method of dismissal, which I think is not bad odds in the circumstances.
Yeah,
if the bear was here, he'd be on it.
Here's Anderson once again targeting the stumps again. It keeps low, and I was just going to say, there is still that nagging doubt, as we mentioned from a couple of overs ago, that the ball could misbehave. This one has ended up with the batsman sitting firmly on the floor on his crease as he just tried to get everything down on that ball. That surprised him by just almost twisted an ankle falling over there, but he kept the ball out of his middle stump. That was the main thing.
While Anderson's bowling, interestingly, sorry.
There he is again. Again, no width offered. He tries to cut it anyway, does Sky, but it's fielded there at point. So there'll be no run. And again, America might be thinking, you know what, if we could just have a strong finish to the over this time, that will really get him worried. Last time they conceded a messy 4 off the final ball. How's this one going to play out? Only 2 from the over so far. Here's Anderson with the last ball to Sky. And Sky goes on the sweep, but catches more of his pad than anything else, I think. But it was probably hit him outside leg, I should imagine. So it is a tidy finish to the over. Dot ball, 55-3 after 12.
And they're 4 runs behind where the USA were at the same time. So that's failing in itself. Jay Grover, this was for Tony, but he'll be listening. He says, Tony, if I tweet a lot, it means I'm drunk or high. And the drunker, higher I am, the more likely it is I'll buy something I don't need from the Guerrilla Cricket store and or drop £100 Snapchat in a befuddled moment of affection. You should see my gobshidery as opportunity.
Excellent.
Well, I have to acknowledge you have been extraordinarily generous to Guerrilla Cricket over the years, Jay, and we appreciate it very much.
Is this Van Schalkwyk again? I think it's a bit of a floaty ball at any rate, and Dubé just knocks it down the ground for a 1.
Do we know whether Van Schalkwyk actually played for South Africa, or whether he has just played for the US?
That I couldn't tell you, because I go off the radar for long periods of white ball cricket. Usually in a huff.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just wondering
of all that I know and love, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I found
not
out
for any
that
length of time, I wouldn't say. Here he is again. He's given some a full wide delivery to Sky, who latches onto it, but just manages to pick out the sweeper on the bounce, I believe, piecing together the stream that's hanging a little bit.
I can tell you he played for Western Province, but he never played for South Africa.
Ah, interesting. I just wondered, because I found out that Nitish Kumar played for Canada for about 8 years before he moved to the US. He's on the list of people.
Again driven, again a little bit on the full side from Van Schalkwyk. Again there'll be a single. So the required run rate now is sitting at, where are we, roughly
7.04, which is relatively high in these circumstances. It's fascinating, it really is.
Yeah, I'm enjoying all this much more than I thought I would, I must say, this whole group phase, if you want to call it that. This one is driven, but it's not driven successfully. It's way up in the air, 100, and he has fumbled hopelessly. Sky has been given a life, and you get a feeling that might prove to be very, very decisive as this match winds down.
I think Will just broke his vocal cords in that process.
Fuck.
Oh dear.
So he's gone on the drive, and it's landed up going towards through the gully area, way up in the air, and the man inside the circle drops. I don't know the USA team well enough to tell you who it is, but it's just gone straight through his fingers. No chance to save that. It's banged in short by the inevitably angry Van Schalkwyk, who gets pulled very gently around the corner. So that's 5 singles off the first 5 balls. And if you keep doing that,
and if it falls, I'll pick it up. Just pick it up, mate.
dear.
I imagine it got pretty loud in that stadium at that moment as well. Here's Van Schalkwyk to complete his over. And he's right in on the stumps there. There's nothing much that Sky can do with that. Just stays back and bunts it out towards cover for no run. So 13 gone and it's 60 for 3.
Dar Azizi says, I met Viv at a Kent game. He wasn't very approachable. Not as bad as Alan Donald, mind you. Hats off to Roger Toos, though. Leah says, holy shit, that victory against Pakistan was definitely no fluke. Darazizi says, Will just found out he bowled Viv on a no ball.
Yeah, 14 years late.
Yeah.
I had to review it a number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, the DRS was my little brother, so he was slightly in my pocket.
So, a big over coming up, folks, was Ali Khan is back into the attack, and he had a pretty successful go at it last time he had ball in hand. His figures are 1 for 10 of 2 overs so far. He is calling long off up into the circle. That's about all we can see of the field. Dubé on strike. Oh, and he turns it around the corner. It's just angled onto his leg stump, and that allows for a... Oh, no. Thought they were going to get one. No run. All good if you're American. 51 from 41 required.
It's not often you'd see a scorecard with Surya Kumar Yadav on 23 from 32 and Dubé on, I think it was 13 off 23 or something like that. So both well below 100 strike rate.
Here is Ali Khan once again wide of the wicket to the left-hander Dubé, who's apparently surprised by the bounce there, but just manages to drop it into the offside with a cross bat, and they'll scurry through for 1. Getting another look at that dropped catch, which hopefully for the fielder's sake is not being replayed on the big screen at the stadium. He'll be replaying it in his own mind more than enough times later tonight, unless of course the USA win it. He won't be all that bothered.
I'm just looking at the bowling figures. No, not one of the USA bowlers has gone for more than a run a ball.
I think they've been very good. Having said that, Ali Khan drops this one in short, and the ball does get up as it should. But again, there's no real timing on the pull, I think, from Sky there, and it's just going to be 1. So hitting it out the park, just very, very difficult, even to what looks like a bit of a pie. As we've said probably about 6,000 times in this tournament so far, and not an easy pitch.
I don't particularly agree with the win predictor, which is saying India 71%. I mean, I think they'll win it, but I don't.
That's a phrase we don't often hear here. I don't agree with the win predictor.
This is another short one. The left-hander Dubé has a go at pulling this, but completely misses it. And another dot ball goes by. 49 from 38 required. Yeah, India just starting to think, this boundary or 2 that they need to get it down to a run or ball is going to have to come sooner rather than later. Unless they can promise not to lose any further wickets. But this is just, as we've seen, you can't just expect to whack 10 or 12 off the last over on this venue. It's not like other places.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't leave it to the last minute. In the expectation. Here's Khan again. It's short again. Follows the batsman as he moves down to the leg side, and all he can do is just drop it onto that part of the field for a single.
If you were the US, would you be sort of thinking about starting to bowl more defensively at this point, or kind of are you still going for wickets?
I think they're doing it just right. What they're doing is the pressure they're creating is going to lead to wickets, in my view.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, India are now 16 runs behind where the USA were at this stage. That's a big gap.
It's true.
So,
Admittedly,
last
the
ball of the
few
over
overs
from
were tight.
Ali Khan,
Oh.
and whipped away from
Whoa.
outside the off stump by Sky, and I think he's got enough on that to make it one of these. Didn't mean to build up your expectations. That was a 6. But the action was lost in a maelstrom of pixelation there on my side. But it was at any rate a boundary, and 4 runs will do India's
We've got a
cause
very
very
generous
good.
super chat from Johan Ariaratnam, $14.99 Australian. He says, "Hey guys, I'm watching the game in Trotter's Sports Bar in Trinidad, supporting the USA. The drop might be costly. I'm going to the West Indies New Zealand game tonight. Also, I had a great time at the Australian England game. Warner, what a legend."
Yeah.
he certainly proved that the selectors knew that what they were doing when they picked him rather than Fraser McGurk, hasn't he? Thank you very much for that, Johan. We really appreciate your support.
The game continues with Corey Anderson bowling, and it's a slowish, shortish ball, which is completely mistimed by Dubé, in that he completely missed it, and it caught him amidships. No run.
Barong says, if Siraj or Bumrah came in next, would that possibly be considered as tanking? Asking for Abir Khan, Pakistani friend.
Whoa, there we go.
Good old swipe
Whoa.
through to cow corner there from Dubé. This one was right out the middle of the bat into the sea of blue for one of these. Well, was it Al Hodge that said the wickets are going to come, the runs are going to come off Anderson?
Yeah, well,
that is
I think that's
exactly
right.
what's happening in this over.
Yeah,
They
and that
decided to go
was,
after him.
and that was in the slot. He doesn't have the pace to bowl that full and not be hit.
Yeah, I mean, he did. I think it was a good call because the Van Schalkwyk and Ali Khan had been pretty good at targeting the stumps as well on this up and down wicket. Now it's 38 from 34 balls, and with 7 wickets standing, it does swing the pendulum a long way towards India. They're going to get another single turned off the hip here. One boundary will now bring it down to a run of ball.
Yeah.
This just is a...
I'd lay odds the blue shirts in the stands cheered that a lot. It'd be a huge sigh of relief. "87 metres is a decent length for a 6 on this ground too."
I'm starting to pay more attention to these numbers now because my neighbour in Austria asked me how far do they hit the ball, and I've never
Long
really
way.
paid attention to that. Yeah, I just get bitter and think I can't hit it that far. But yeah, this one is fielded by Anderson off his own bowling. There'll be no run.
That was much better bowling. It was a shorter of a length and really gave him nowhere to hit it.
Unlike the ball a little earlier in the over that disappeared into the stands. Yes, Anderson one more time. It is way outside of off stump. Nonetheless, it is swept down to deep square leg, and there'll be a 1 run.
So do you think this is a sort of a formality at this point?
I wouldn't go that
Just
far.
running it in?
I wouldn't go that far, but that 71% now looks a reasonable call. It didn't an over or two ago, whenever that was. This is full right up there. Not quite the Yorker. from Anderson, and therefore it can be fairly easily driven by Dubé. There'll be one further single to finish the over, 35 off 30 with 5 to go. Well, as you can tell, 30 balls is 5 overs. I will get back into the Summarisers beanbag.
Okay.
You certainly can. Thank you very much to Will, the conqueror of
Thanks
Viv Richards.
very much.
What a piece of news that was.
Again, really, he did just basically hold his bat up and step away.
Just
And
look in the scorebook. Just look in the scorebook. That won't tell you that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Leah says if America win today, those poor Canucks will feel Virat's wrath on Saturday, although I think that may be rained out.
Right.
O'Neill Harris says, I frequently hear some guerrilla radio guys saying there's too much T20 cricket leagues and too many on TV. But without these leagues, these US players wouldn't have gotten a chance to improve and compete. I sort of agree, but
Well, 37 or 46
I
is what
see your point.
This partnership is. It's 76 for 3. 35 is what India need from 30 balls. How different, just how different might it be if that the hero of the Pakistan game, remember, Netravolka, was running back. Van Skalkvenk's ball pulled away by Surakumar Yadav. It looked for all the world like Netravolka was going to pouch it. He didn't. He spilt it with Sky on 22. How games can be won and lost in those moments, we'll wait and see. Surakumar now on 29, so he's added 7 since that was dropped. Now there is a very long discussion between Paul Rifle and
including finger wagging.
Well, I think he's explaining something, possibly.
Is that what they call it?
To Aaron Jones.
To Aaron Jones, yeah. Now
he's signalling the old tap on the shoulder.
It's 1 for the over, isn't it?
Rifle.
He's saying 1 for the over in terms of short balls. Jones is doing a double teapot, so I think he's not happy in the least. Maybe he felt that wasn't a short ball.
But they haven't bowled an over.
Well, I know it must have related to the last over. That one's nudged into the onside. They'll take another single. The score will move on to 83. Bigger. They must have taken 2. Well, that
Yeah,
would have
they
been
did.
good running. That's
Yes.
very sharp running.
And you sense a shift of momentum at this point in the
Yes.
game, unfortunately.
Yeah,
for
that
those
is-
gunning for an upset.
Exactly that catch.
And
They got rid of
even
Rishabh
that
Pant.
last should have probably not been 2. That last
28 from 29. There's always a shift when the runs you need is less than the balls you have to face. You sense that's a massive moment. That's worked nicely off his hip to backward square. Stroll a comfortable single. Netravolka it is who does the fielding. Throws it in to Aaron Jones, who's looking distinctly angry. Is he captain for the day? I think he is, isn't he, Jones? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
Standing captain, having after the shoulder tweak that Manik Patel has got. Stuart Law's still looking pretty relaxed. So he should. He led Middlesex to enough defeats. 84 for 3. It's 27 from 28.
Oh, that was vicious.
And that's he stepped away there
And looks at the square leg umpire instead of the side screen.
Well, Paul Rifle's not quite sure why.
He says what's going on.
Well, he has some. I think it might be the number of fielders in the ring. I suspect.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
Judging by the way Aaron Jones is doing his quick mental arithmetic to figure it out.
Did square leg umpire call? Yeah, he stuck his arm out as the bowler was coming in and must have said something. So the ball was never bowled.
No, it wasn't. We're 2 balls into the 15th over. That's pulled away, but pulled straight down towards deep mid wicket, and it will only be 1 on this occasion.
Does the umpire actually? I mean,
they're an over behind as well.
Or after? Can't he just call no ball?
Well, hang on. I wonder also if they've had to adjust the field settings because they're behind on that over rate. And I think that may have been the discussion.
No, because that wouldn't apply till the 19th or 20th over.
True, very
I'm
true.
Sure
Yes.
he put his arm out as he was about to deliver, which is way too soon. He should wait until the ball's delivered before doing that.
I know, right? The umpire is not supposed to reveal ahead of time that it's a no ball.
In comes Singh.
I would have thought.
That's pulled away by Dubé. He'll get a single down to
that's it. We don't
deep
know.
backward square.
We don't know for sure that was what it was all about.
And it's 86-4-3. We've got 2 balls left of the 16th over. 25 is what India need. They've got 26 balls to get them. You just do feel, poor old Netravolko, that such is life, such is cricket, such is sport. A hero
But
against
particularly
Pakistan, and well, not a villain today because he bowled well, bowled very well. In fact, that's a bit inside edgy, but it will get the single, and they will only get the one. 87-4-3, 24 from 25 is what is needed. I mean,
It's interesting. Normally you'd save Netravolko for the 19th over, but it's pretty dire straits at the moment. I'm inclined to think we need to bring him back early.
And there's also the psychology that if you've just put a catch down, so here you go, you here's your chance to really put that behind you. Have a go at them with the ball. How many overs has he got left, Netravolko?
Just one.
Just the one, is it? Yeah, he's bowled 3. Took 2 wickets, of course, early on. That one's just guided to backward point. Another single should accrue. No, they didn't run on that occasion.
No.
And they feel they missed out 2. And he's cursing himself.
I feel maybe I'm being a prophet of doom, but I feel like it doesn't matter what they do at this point. We've gone within the space of 2 or 3 overs from real nerves and tension, and this is the trouble with this.
Well, it's been a defining partnership. When you're chasing a low score, such as they are, 43 runs, I think, or 51 balls. Messrs, are you all right?
Sorry.
One of the geese escaped.
This is something we've missed.
Right.
The bet between Paul Rifle and the Aaron Jones was that they were awarded 5 penalty runs, India, because USA took more than a minute between overs 3 times.
Oh. 3, okay, so they had 3 warnings.
That's why it suddenly came down in terms of the target. I thought that's strange how low the
there was someone from the BCCI had their eye on that clock. That's lofted. It's going to bounce short of long on. Well, that would explain why I suddenly thought, how have they suddenly got ahead of the runs per ball equation?
Yeah.
When I don't remember them doing it. So we did miss that, and you are absolutely right. 23 off 23 is what they need.
I do wish that there would be more games at this venue, the rest of the tournament at this venue.
Shivam Dubé is about to face, and he's slapped this, but he slapped it straight all the way along the ground to long on and will just take a single. Aaron Jones, well, he's going to be thinking, oh God, I didn't ask to be captain today. It's well, we're getting more interesting messages. Umpire Sam, there's another name I can never say. Njoski has his hand to his ear in the manner of David Coleman on Grandstand. That's uppish. It's lofted. Is it lofted far enough? Yes, it is. Yes. I'm afraid the end may be nigh. Possibly the predictable end. That has gone all the way as a really clever shot. Not really even much power, but it was just lofted away over long off, and it's gone for a maximum. Poor old Van Skalkvik.
Perfect.
Okay, you don't have to say it every time. Although I must commit, I am. If you see me leaning forward, it's because I'm looking at the chat on the monitor next to me. That's flicked away around the corner. That's going to go as well. India are going to race there now. Oh dear, oh dear. The wheels have come off a little bit. They've been discombobulated, I fear, the USA, by that run penalty by then a drop catch, and a combination of events seems to be working very much in India's favour here. That's gone for 4 more.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Surakumar Yadav shoveled that away around the corner. He's into the 40s with that 4. In comes Van Skalkvik, as that's worked away towards mid-wicket. They take 1, they'll turn for 2, and all of a sudden the runs needed is going to come down to just 10.
Yeah,
101 for 3.
And what a shame as well, because we missed Le Mans qualifying.
Well, I think
for petering out.
In comes Van Skalkvik. That's lofted again. It's the same shot. Has he got the same? Oh no, we're watching a replay. For goodness' sake, Netravalkar's dropped a catch. The USA team have managed to take too long between overs, and I've fallen straight into the oh no, it's a replay trap. This one's wide of off stump. That's lofted. It's going to drop just short. There's no one there at very short mid wicket. Van Skalkvik goes after it, but it's not going to stop them getting a single. 9 off 18 it is now. 17 overs complete, 102 for 3. And, well, the fat lady, and there might be a few of them in the crowd, is going to be loosening her vocal cords, I fear.
But you better hope not, because those are temporary scaffolding structures.
No, maybe not too many of them then.
There's lots of discussion on YouTube about the 5-round penalty and accusing the BCCI and the ICC of conspiracy. The truth is, it's a penalty that I think pretty well everybody thought was a really good idea to keep the game flowing. And sadly, the USA has fallen foul of it.
You could argue some naivety. You've got a temporary captain or a stand-in captain. That doesn't help matters. You've got an intense pressure situation that it's happening under. But rules are rules. Netravalkar is the man with ball in hand. The Oracle software engineer, ukulele player from Mumbai, I believe. In he comes, left arm, launched high, handsome and long, and 1 bounce, fielded actually just short of the sponge, and it'll only be 2 is a fabulous piece of fielding down there on the mid-wicket boundary. And it was our friend Van
to the end.
You can't keep him out of the game, can you? It was our friend Van Skalkvik again, having just bowled, is immediately called into fielding action. But they need something. They need a miracle now. They need 2 quick wickets. They need something to get themselves their heads back in the game. Really, the US. They've been thrown completely out of their stride. Really, by a combination of 2 events. The run rate, the run penalty between and the drop catch that's worked away round the corner, down towards fine leg. They'll take another single. And
I think
7
it's also
from 17 is what's needed.
That Sky has really found his rhythm now. In a way, he doesn't seem nearly as threatened by.
Well, 48 off 45. Not many players at this ground have thumped runs quicker than more than a strike rate of 100. Most of them have just gone at best a runner ball. He's only a shade ahead of that, but nonetheless he's done pretty well. And we all have to wait while a young lady who it's clearly something official because she's got a lanyard on walk behind the bowler's arm. Honestly, 6 needed from 16 balls. It's going to be 5 needed now as they amble the quick single as it's nudged into mid-wicket by Shivam Dubey, who has been very much the junior partner here in this pretty decent partnership. 61 or 59. This partnership has been 4 runs off this over by Netravalkar.
And Sky just 2 away from his 50.
Sky is 2 away indeed from his 50.
Have to make sure he manages things carefully if he wants to get it.
Yes. Who
5 left to get.
Who is on strike? It is Surakumar Yadav who's on strike. Doesn't really get anything in that. Nudges it into the onside. No run. 5 from 14.
But he's played a great innings, getting India through that really nervy phase from overs 9 to about 13.
Gritty. I think you could describe it as gritty.
Yeah.
They've all the expansive shots and the ramps and the sweeps and all of that has gone. They've been patient and careful and run a lot of ones and twos. And that one is slapped, but slapped straight to backward point. No run. 13 balls left, but only 5 runs needed. And that really is the main thing. It would be 10, even if it was 10, you'd think, do you know what? You never know. I think 5 you do know. 10 you might not have done. Sorry, Richard.
They'll be right. No, I was just going to say, if people are going to start playing gritty innings in T20 and we're going to start enjoying it, my only concern with that is they'll use that as a reason to take Test cricket away from us. You've got your grit. You're going to have another
you can't play them all at this ground. That's the thing. That one's nudged towards a mid-on by Sirakumar Yadav. He's will move on to 49, won't he? 4 is all that is needed. And I think at the end of 18 it's 107 for 3. It does mean they've kept the strike, Richard, to your point. Sirakumar Yadav is on 49, Shivan Dubey 29, Messers.
Steve Howe, the Bacon Bruce, says, such an open T20 World Cup, could it finally be Caribbean Cricket Podcast MASH year? Well, for MASH's sake, I sort of hope so, because his despair about 18 months ago at the state of West Indian cricket was it was painful to watch.
I hate to say it, I see certain parallels between a somewhat past it. They basically gave a sort of a retirement tour to 2 or 3 players who shouldn't have been in the last World Cup, if I recall. And that was the issue for the West Indies, wasn't it?
Yeah, sadly we won't be covering the West Indies-New Zealand game.
This one's flicked round the corner. It's only going to go for a single. There's a man on the 45. So Sirakumar Yadav, though, does bring up his 52. The absolute joy and delight. He just whipped Ali Khan around the corner. There was a man on the 45, but he was able to run the single. And in the context of this game, when you've got best part of 50% of the runs that your team needs, then you can feel you've done a pretty good job, albeit that when he had less than half those runs, he was dropped at deep mid-wicket by Netravolka off the bowling of our good friend Van Skelkwink. How different might that be? Ali Khan, that's a horrible ball. It's going to be a wide. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Umpire Anjeski opens his arms. 2 is all that is needed now. That India are going to get home, but they're only going to get home with less than now. Messers, you thought it was going to be all done by 10 overs.
15 overs.
15. Well, it's gone to 18. I would imagine it'll finish in this over. You've got to say it's a great innings by Sky. I'm sure he would be the first to admit that he needed his moment of luck. Driven back down the ground. Is it going to go all the way? I don't think it will matter. There's a stumble from Taylor, who's down there at long off, and India have got there, not quite by the skin of their teeth in the end, but boy, oh boy, Richard, did they have to work for that.
They did. A few nervy moments there. I wouldn't go so far as to say that catch cost America the game, but it cost them the chance to make it interesting for quite a lot longer. I mean, considering India would still have had 6 left. It would have made it very interesting if he'd held that.
Well, it would have made it interesting if he'd held that. It would have made it okay, so take away those Sirakumar Yadav runs, wickets slow down run rates, and it was already pedestrian. Remember, he was on 22 and he went on to make just over 50. So you've got 20 odd runs there. Add to that the fact that there was 5 runs for the run rate penalty. That's 25 runs. You'd have been taking the game, I reckon, into the final over, were it not for those 2 occasions. And once you're into the final over, even if it's only a couple of runs needed, both sides are in the game. Both sides are in the game. So the USA,
it was a massive drop. It really was.
It was a massive drop, and the lad didn't deserve it. But a hero who's playing his ukulele and singing to the world after the incredible victory in the Super Over against Pakistan. He's not the villain today because he bowled quite beautifully and he took 2 absolutely key wickets that kept the pressure right on India all the way until close to the end. Just the pure power and pedigree that India have was enough in the end. There's smiles on the faces of the USA players. They, I think, can feel hugely proud of their work. They're by no means out of this, particularly as it was in the end a very narrow defeat. So a decent run rate for them is not going to be impacted too badly.
And cricket the winner yet again.
Yeah, interesting. And we say that Cabbage Patch pitch, council pitch, I've heard it called, pop-up stand, all of those things. And yet, it's been a low-scoring thriller. And I think generally a lot of us gorillas have a secret passion for low-scoring thrillers as opposed to sick-hitting thumpathons.
I would make no secret of that.
And that, I have to say, I hope you've been entertained listening to us bringing it to you. We've been hugely entertained bringing it to you. Oh, the camera's on Virat Kohli.
As a surprise.
Well, yeah, he didn't. Don't forget, he got a first baller. And then at that point we thought, well, hello, and it was Netravolkar who got him. Netravolkar who got both openers. Before we're too hard on the lad, let's not forget he got Rohit Sharma caught by Harmeet Singh for 3. He then got Virat Kohli caught behind by Gus off the very first ball that he received. And India at the time were rocking. They then lost Rishabh Pant after he'd scored only 18. They had just 44 after 7 overs there. They did race to a power play score that was more than double where the 18 for 2, wasn't it, that the USA were.
Yeah,
but it does mean
that did prove to be a good foundation.
It did. Van Skalvenk, number 25 for him. Well, I'll give you the bowling figures first. Netravalkar 2 for 18 off 4. That's a fabulous effort. 1 for 21 for Ali Khan. None for 24 for Jasdeep Singh. None for 25 for Shadley Claude Van Skalkvenk. Corey Anderson, none for 17 off 3. So all pretty economical by the standards we are used to. Sirakumar Yadav, the hero, 50 for him. Great stand. Partnership with Shivam Dubey. Partnership of, I'm just trying to find it, but about 60 or 70 was it in the end. It was enough to see India home in any case by 7 wickets with 10 balls remaining.
And where does this leave the standings?
Well, it's very interesting. The net run rate. So both India and Ireland. India is now qualified with 6 points.
They have. They're there.
So the USA is on 0.127 net run rate with 4 points. Pakistan on 2 points with 1 game to play on 0.191. The USA is still to play Ireland, though the weather is threatening that.
Is that in Florida, that game?
Yes, and Pakistan is due to play Canada, also in Florida, and both of those are threatened by the weather. If the weather intervenes, then clearly India and the USA will qualify. If the USA lose to Ireland, they are at danger of losing their spot to Pakistan or Canada, depending on who wins that. But Canada's net run rate's very low. Pakistan ought to beat Canada, and that would leave them in a position of overtaking the USA. I still think the USA is a very strong favourite to be the second qualifier in this group.
I think given the weather situation
Yes.
and the doubt there, not to mention the fact that they're playing Ireland, who frankly have had a bit of a stinker of a tournament so far, to be honest.
They can certainly take Ireland on the right sort of
track. If they've beaten Pakistan, they've pushed India as hard as they could push them. They've beaten Canada, against whom historically, if we only ever used to play Australia, it seems to me that the USA only ever used to play Canada for many years. They've only been playing T20 cricket since 2019. And there's about 4 or 5 of this squad who were part of that very first win they had in the UAE. I think they beat the UAE in the UAE. Or at least that was their first game.
There is a very crucial match in Group D on tomorrow between Bangladesh and the Netherlands, the winner of which is likely to qualify from Group D. We're not covering anything tomorrow, are we, Tony?
Yes, we are. Yes, we're finding a way. It's either the Bear who realised it's... a lot of people didn't realise it was an 8 p.m. start, so they said, "Oh, I can't do that because couldn't get to it in time." The Bear's down in his flats. He's finished shouting at builders, and he's now down there assembling his own flat pack furniture to put into his flats. But he think he'll make it back.
Which one are you talking about? The England versus
Oman? We're doing England and Oman tomorrow.
Yeah,
I thought that's
we're
what you were
not doing
talking about.
Bangladesh and Netherlands, which is a really crucial game.
Yes. We only have it in us to do one a day, really.
No. I'm just clarifying. That's all. But England versus Oman will be the next time Guerrilla Cricket is on.
Correct.
And that will be at 8. You're saying 8 p.m.
That's 8 p.m. tomorrow night, UK time. Yes.
Okay, just to make sure people know when to come and listen.
All right, well, look, we're done for today. A fantastic effort. Thank you to everybody who has listened. We've been delighted to have your company. Thanks to Messrs, to Sagir, to James, to Ajit and his armchair, to Richard, of course.
Thank you for all your
and to Al.
appreciations.
I'm pretty sure, and to everybody who's been so kind to us. Makes it worth it. When you say thank you to us, it means a lot. We're looking at the Statue of Liberty. I've been free to be allowed to go home. And we will love you. And
that is true liberty.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Take care, all.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They